every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic jackets on the record albums have their own hits.
This is a special question. We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing.
Me?
Want you to smoke the natural herb.
Sweet.
Some call it marijuana.
Sweet.
Some call it sensimilla.
Sweet.
Some call it lamb's bread.
The tea.
And some people call it...
Welcome to another edition of the Adam Dunn Show. I am your host, Adam Dunn.
I'm Dave Charnick.
I'm the landlady, Katie.
Yes, sir. And we are here in the studio live with View Askew himself, Travis Tyler Fluck.
View Askew
himself. And we got a full studio.
And his mic's not on.
Mic's not even on. Jeez, what kind of an operation? You don't have to worry about it. It's on their side.
Yeah,
Check
got
it out.
it.
Check it out.
You're good.
Check it out.
He wasn't even talking.
Hi. He did say something because I saw his lips move.
No way.
And
I'm a hell of a mime.
we've got the crew keeping things rolling. We've got Jair in the studio. We've got Jaron in the studio.
No, it's not. It's Jair. He likes the hard J. I've listened to him
Whatever.
introduce himself.
It's a total whatever. The man with a million names.
I don't know.
I think they should be like, it'd be funny if every time you guys meet with somebody, they should just get that initial way they try to say it, because it's like between Aryan and fucking Jair, it's like nobody knows what they're saying. You're just like, who?
That's great.
Who? And let's see, who else we got? We got anybody else? Oh, we got Mel coming in later in the studio. Mel will be in the studio. Melrose Rogers is coming in to. Basically, you're gonna high five each other on the way in and out, right? That's one of those deals. Like next,
We call that an alley-oop.
alley-oop, exactly.
Alley-oop.
And yeah, so we're gonna cover all sorts of bases: psychedelics, lighting, some history,
Nutrients.
Oh yeah. Oh, I can't. Never mind. Can't say it. One of those like, greatest idea ever. Better write it down. Haven't done it yet. So, but hopefully by the end of the show, remind me I had the greatest idea ever.
Okay.
Okay. There you go. One of those deals.
Text it to me right now so I can remind you later.
I will.
Yeah.
Cool.
Is that like a remember all from the fucking Harry Potter movies? It tells you when you forget something.
I have
just
no
doesn't tell you what it was that you forgot.
Basically, if you ask me anything when the word Harry Potter comes in, my brain shuts down. Like right when you say the word Harry Potter, it's like.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I don't even know what I have zero.
I was talking.
You were, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm really fond of the term muggle,
Yeah, I like that one too.
the non-magic people.
That must be. Oh,
Yep.
damn muggles.
Damn.
Is that how you say it?
muggles.
Muggle?
Yep.
Muggles?
That's how I say it.
Yeah.
Well,
What is
I
that
haven't
in the
seen it in a long
background?
time. I read it.
Is somebody's phone on? Playing a reel?
no, it's Vinny. It's got to be Vinny.
Yeah, it was Vinny.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was because you just
No.
turned it off.
No, we just all stopped and it stopped.
Oh.
Vinny.
So we're on a limited time because I know got big dinner dates tonight, right?
With the governor, right?
The governor.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would sit down to eat with the governor.
Whoa, you would have to.
Actually, it was funny because as I was getting out of my car,
Is that how it goes?
Yeah, you'd have to take it for
I
the
can't.
team.
I can't apply civil disobedience to that one.
No, because he wouldn't know for which thing he fucked up that you're being disobedient on. You'd have to get in front of his face to say, "Don't gut the fucking 122." That's what you would have to do.
so 122
Yeah.
is Prop 122, which passed, even though none of us in the room wanted necessarily for it to
No,
pass.
and now I'm very much in support of it being now that this is what we have.
You have to.
We
Well,
all-
now you have to.
Exactly, of
this
course.
is what we have, but the voters have voted.
Just
So,
because we weren't against
let's honor that.
we weren't for 122 had nothing to do with our views on mushrooms. It was just it was a bad bill.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing.
Another amendments to an already less, in my opinion,
And
less than ideal.
this is typically, this would be like classic too, where it's like, take this, anybody from another state who's thinking about like getting behind psychedelics, which there are plenty of states I'm sure doing it, always take heed from the places that do it too quickly, which is exactly what kind of, I think Colorado has paved the way for a lot of these things with cannabis. We like, oh yeah, that was a bad idea. So the other states, if they're smart, would say like, okay, we're not going to do that because that did not work out well. And the other stuff, it also sucks because it also means it's easier for them to go for the jugular on some other things because they say like, oh shit, that fucked everybody up, and then in their favor, you know.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Yeah, I actually think we're in a best case scenario right this second.
That just feels like when you say that, I feel like, oh my gosh, now I want to get my guard up. Here it comes.
Well, I mean, there's something about shark attacks and lightning
Oh
strikes.
goodness.
Statistically very rare, but scare the shit out of everyone. So we really have to be forward-facing about the potential risks and harms of these things so that when they do happen, they're not outlying. Because next year, when they sit in session, there's going to be more amendments made to this. And as of right now, they're really willing to uphold what the voters voted for. And, you know, we showed up, over 200 of us over the course of the last two committee sessions, and really made the point that community and centering the Indigenous perspective. So they listened to us.
They were receptive.
Yeah.
Okay.
And interestingly enough, the Republicans in the room were the most on our side. Yeah.
Well, everything's flipped in that world.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty much like there's none of that. Like the line has been completely flip flopped. Where you're like, oh wait a minute, aren't they the ones that? I guess not.
The Democrats.
Turn it to drugs.
The Democrats controlled the implementation of cannabis and fucked that up too. So why would anyone think that they were going to be supportive of psychedelic medicine when they're all bought and paid for by someone? And if something you said, lest anyone not understand, Colorado, you can put a bill up, right? We vote on it, it becomes law. But then our elected legislators can then write amendments and just add whatever they want and vote on it, and we don't get a chance. They do it all themselves. So they basically can rewrite and restructure anything when it
If
comes
it's
down to it.
statutory, but if it's an amendment, they can't.
It's
But
weird.
this is a proposition.
Right.
and not-
That's why it's statutory.
That's why.
Then they can go in and change things. But the sponsors of the bill were very vocal, at least in the committee rooms that we were in, saying we want to uphold the will of the voters. And the president of the Senate talked about the difficulty of taking the way that Prop 122 is written, which is a bunch of thou shalts, and turning it into law, which is typically thou shalt nots. So a lot of the things had to be translated into clear things to show people what they could and could not do.
I guess I'm kind of worried that since we've drawn the focus on the home grow provision, that isn't that like the classic you fell for it? That was the one they wanted you to look at. They never were going to go after home grow. It's this other provision that they're going to fuck with. And that's what you had to look at.
Well, there's next session.
Yeah.
You know, like they're willing to do it this way this time, but next time they're in session, there's going to be lobbyist groups or groups lobbying to change this, and they're going to look at these sensationalized cases and make a huge deal about it. You know, so we have to kind of like move, not quickly, but like show that with intelligence and community and sensitive touch that we can like actually handle this.
I agree.
You know,
and
and
they seemed receptive. They seemed extremely receptive to everything that was brought forth. I got a lot of open energy from the room.
there's,
That was nice.
you know, I think people are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you know,
Even the senator that talked about some of the mental health things that he had struggled with himself, and
that was powerful.
that was extremely powerful.
the
That-
chairman of the finance committee.
Party affiliated?
I don't know.
Okay.
But after over 100 of us testified, he said, well, now that y'all have talked, you got to listen to me talk.
He said y'all?
Or whatever the
Okay.
paraphrasing.
I party.
But he spoke to his lifelong depression that he couldn't do anything about, couldn't get away from. And 4 years ago, he tried ketamine and it revolutionized everything.
Oh, beautiful.
So he was really touched by all the stories of healing, and he was really...
And then he pulled out his glow sticks, and he was like, yeah.
That's how I roll.
He's like, and
bass and drums
I
and
rage.
bass and drums and bass.
I
mean, it was
pretty big jump for a guy like that.
Yeah,
It's
it
not
was...
like- didn't even go into the waiting pool. And
But
stuff.
he might have,
Yeah.
if he said he struggled with it for his whole life, he's probably just leaving out the fact that he tried or was prescribed every other Western solution.
No, he
for it.
included that,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
and I think
Yeah.
that is what it. That's why I would love to continue this conversation, however it looks. The communicating around this is necessary because there's so many people that just don't even know about this. That having access to just the education that is being provided has been provided since 2019 is when the decrim. Like, you guys, there was a lot of literature, there was a lot of information put out even back then while that campaign was going on. And over the last couple years, the amount of people that reach out to me and have questions about this that have been struggling and taken every pharmaceutical med that they can think of or have access to are just open to the possibility that something like this may help.
And what you said is actually the framework of what the original physician statement used to look like in cannabis. It was the physician saying, in my opinion, you know what? It might work for you. And it didn't make them liable. Like, they weren't writing a prescription. They were giving a recommendation. And that's really what it's all about. It's right. You should have the right to have somebody offer you and accept this medicine. And we'll pause for a second. So now that you're the co-host of the show, so when you walked up to the head of the Senate afterwards and invited him on the show, what did he say?
I will do that.
Okay.
I would love to do that. I will try to do that.
Remember,
Absolutely.
always be hunting for guests.
Always hunting for guests. I'm
Always
always
hunting
hunting
for
for guests.
guests.
So hit me
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Hit me up for guests and show suggestions.
I took
No,
a
I actually do have a list.
I took a giant dose last Saturday, and at the tail end of it, the mushrooms implied that Fenberg was all part part of this.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he
For
kind
those
of
of you
implied that when
listening,
it was like
we talked
Minority
the other
Report, like-
night,
Yeah.
right? He
Yeah.
was like, you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Quantify dose for everyone who doesn't know who you are as a
Well, this is going to throw
pioneer.
you for a loop.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready. Nothing you do surprises me. I've had conversations with you, and I know that you don't set the way we muggles would look at how much we would take. That to you is not really a question. You just consume.
Well, I usually weigh out my doses. So I kind of, like on a pinball machine, when you pull the plunger back, it kind of gives you an indication of how far that ball's going to go. So that's usually how I think about a dose.
Okay.
Like, where do I want to go? And then figure out the dose that's going to take me to there, or that zone, So I started with 3 grams weighed, and I wound up eating 2 more handfuls. So we don't know.
Was it like how I eat popcorn handfuls, where you just kind of keep pushing it into your mouth as much as you can and just hope? Okay. Or is it like little handfuls? My handfuls.
I mean, my mushrooms are very large,
Yeah.
You don't say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was like I found myself coming out of the first kind of journey space feeling like I hadn't gotten resolution for what I had asked for. And the insight came very quickly, we'll just eat more. And I was like, all right, we're doing this. So I ate more. And then I found myself like in a lukewarm bathtub, so to speak. And I was like, all right, well, we need to eat more. And then it got real. And I confronted some very deep cellular fear. And then the medicine ultimately showed me that it was my mom's, that I had intergenerationally inherited. But it got real.
Dig it.
That's
Sounds
powerful.
it.
Yeah. But at the tail end, after that, it showed me that Fenberg was part of all this. Like, weaved that in there.
Dun. Was it like that?
Okay, I love this.
So
Kind of
you
like-
see him sitting here eventually.
I don't
And
know.
you're there.
I don't know. All I know is that when we hung out with him after a town hall. He talked about some of his experience, and his nickname in college was Mushroom Steve. So
Think about also the side story about how long he had to keep that hidden because of the stigma associated with it.
yeah,
It's like I was a single father for many years during Prohibition cannabis, and they could have taken my kid. You know, I used to make brownies for sick people, but that wouldn't have mattered. They would have still taken my kid. You know, so this guy, knowing, because you don't just decide one day to be a politician. He probably, this was something he was going to do for a while maybe, and those people try to keep at least, the shit wired tight and not in the public eye, and so that must have been a hard burden to keep. And it probably feels really good for him to get that,
Well, if he was known as Mushroom Steve, he didn't keep it very well. So everybody's
well, the measure had already passed.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Right.
And the cultural conversation is evolving very quickly.
Yeah.
My mom calls me and says things like, "Oh, Anderson Cooper was just talking about mushrooms," and you can tell he knows what he's talking about.
Well, then here's a question I can ask you. So, someone Mark knows has become quite a mushroom cultivator and brought in various different strains, and we've all shared them. But the Yeti, it literally, I can take one small capsule of anything else and microdose, 0.2 something, completely functional, no problem. Took one of Mark's capsules at 9:30 in the morning.
What's the weight on that?
They're about 0.25.
Okay.
You sure? I mean, it's a small cap.
They're
I mean, it's,
lovely.
I
Actually,
usually
those are a little bit more because I actually fit more in there. 'Cause you wanted to,
there's
so.
the secret right there.
So it might be like
It's called more.
Okay, so 0.3 I would give you, even if it was 0.35, but it was 7 o'clock at night before I could say, you know what, I don't feel that anymore. I was writing these guys
I know,
gibberish.
we're getting updates. We're getting
Gibberish.
So that's a penis envy.
it's a
Point
Yeti,
thing?
so it's an isolation from the Tat albino family.
Okay.
But it doesn't do what your penis envy is like.
We call them Shiva Lingams now.
Shiva Lingams
Oh, much nicer.
are the most sativa experience, that, to use a cannabis term, that I have on mushrooms, and it hits me right in the chest. I prefer other strains. I know
So that would be
everyone likes
indica in my world.
right. But Mark's, the Yeti, is everything more for me, and zero body, all in my head. But again, your experience with them is not that. I mean, Adam's is not that. They all were fine. I was.
Well,
they were strong. Dave is on mushrooms.
Everybody holds these things differently.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the nature of it, and that's
I mean,
why.
you pointed here. Open your heart.
Yeah.
What? I'm serious.
I loved it. I loved it. It was great.
See, the Yeti is your thing. It's your jam.
No, the chesty thing is more of my lungs. Like, I
Okay.
can't use it without my inhaler.
Oh dang. Okay.
You know.
I thought you meant like you had feelings.
No. Oh
No, Dave does not have feelings.
Okay.
Zero.
Oh yeah.
Well, they have a habit. They have a habit of taking that sand on the bottom of the glass and stirring it up. So, carefees.
Damn.
I'm about to have a few more offerings in the menu soon.
Ooh,
Oh, lovely.
I like to hear that. You're
And how did your freeze-dried ones go over last time that you gave us?
amazing.
Give it a lot more. Get a lot of requests.
For the freeze dried, I
Yeah,
only.
the fruity ones though. Those were awesome.
The candies that you made us.
things you made us last
Oh,
time.
those things.
Those things are off the
You know, I made a bunch of them, gave a bunch of them out, and nobody has come back and asked me for more.
What?
I was
I have
really,
not tried these.
really
Oh my
just shocked.
God.
No,
Because
I figured it was just going to be in rotation.
No, I gave them to 50 people at least, and nobody has come back and be like, more, please.
I think that the
I would like
key
to try
was. I think the key was I felt like you definitely needed to do 2 of them to even like think you're gonna like it because normally with your stuff, it's like I'm always like less
It was
is
a
more.
micro.
I know it was a micro.
It was a micro,
I know it was a
yeah.
You have to eat them right away.
Flavor was off the chain though, and the style and the texture and everything.
Amazing. Like
Yeah.
Spaceman ice cream.
Yeah.
No, I thought I had struck gold. I was going to go and patent the process. And then nobody came back. And I was like,
with
well,
the wah.
We want on ourselves.
Wah, wah, wah.
Corn, it's got the juice.
Yeah, no. Anyway, I think it's because it was so good that we just figured everybody else. It was like one of those classics where you're like, it's okay. Everybody must be showering him in just accolades of how awesome it was. I thought it was fucking great.
Yeah, I love them.
So did I.
Oh, well, there you go. So there you got, I don't know how many people you gave it to, but you have 100% in this room agreeing. Mango were way better than the chocolate ones, though, for sure. The mocha ones were a little bit like.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, what?
The mango flavored
No,
ones?
there was no mango.
It was fruity.
Well,
There
was
was,
fruity. What
there was
was it?
blueberry
I know.
and cherry.
Was it?
No.
You gave us-
We got then we.
I swear
we
to God,
got
you gave us
pineapple.
Oh, that was
Yes,
it. Pineapple.
blueberry.
Pineapple.
and a chocolate.
The pineapple. It
Or
was a mocha.
vanilla.
Like a mocha.
Yeah.
You did like a mocha one. You did. Didn't he?
I don't know. He's fucking with us right now or something.
I'm not actually. I'm telling you how it is.
So they're all fruit. You're saying?
They're all fruit.
Really?
I've given you like chocolates.
No, I know.
No, we know that.
No. Because I remember when I came home and gave them to Cece, and then I was like you, where I was like, I came back later, I was like, what'd you think? She's like, I didn't try me. I was like, you didn't try? What the hell's wrong with you? Get in there, try them. And
It's
then
like the Owsley of mushrooms is giving you candies.
I was
Eat
like,
'em.
you have to try it. And then pineapple again. Fuck, those were the best.
Well, I feel like it alchemizes with some of the enzymes in the pineapple.
Makes
like there's
sense.
bromelain. Do you know what bromelain is?
Heard of it?
It's like unique to pineapple. It's like a very potent anti-inflammatory.
Oh damn!
And
It's good for
you can
your lungs.
actually soak a steak in pineapple and it'll tenderize it. Do you know that? Yeah. So there's some alchemy going on.
And yeah, salmon they do that with too also. So
Very nice.
Soak it.
I'm gonna do this thing where you boil salt into water, then you chill the water, then you take it out at a certain temperature and you pour it on your fish, and it's an endothermic reaction.
Oh.
It cooks it in the salt. It encrusts it in salt as the water comes out of it, and it.
So you make a super saturated solution.
Yep.
You ever make rock candy?
It's probably the same.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just put a string
Yep.
in that, and a few days later you get rock candy.
Yeah.
Or sweet tea.
Look at this. Recipes are flying around.
These sound
Rock
incredible. I
candy.
want to try these. Everything you do.
I
is
beta
really
tested, and
incredible,
I was
though.
like, "Let's see what the world thinks," and nobody was like,
Oh, we were all in awe.
I don't think we
Shock and awe.
realized
He shock
that
and
it
awed
was,
us. He shock and awed us. That was the
yeah.
problem. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, I just figured you thought we all were in agreement the moment we all went, oh my God.
But
When
I
we
s-
bit into
I-
them,
I-
that was the vote of please make more.
I
But-
swear
Yeah.
to God, I
So-
swear to God, though, there was no blueberry.
Yeah.
And what was the other flavor you
"It was
said?
cherry."
Pineapple for sure. And there was a chocolate.
There was a chocolate.
I'm telling you,
mocha.
there was a chocolate.
Then that was the cherry. So I have a friend that has a giant cherry farm in Washington, and I was trying to convince him to fund the patenting of this process. So everybody makes gummy everything.
Yep.
But why would you want to eat gelatin and food coloring and sugar
Yeah.
with your medicine?
Exactly.
So that's why I made the fruit things.
Exactly.
He's so vegan.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're right. I
Granola.
totally dig it.
It's
Granola, that
Yeah,
was
there
the
you go.
word.
So granola.
So granola.
That's how I roll it.
But no, well, next time you do next round,
Oh, I got some
I'm ready.
funsies coming out now. I made friends with an extractor, so we're gonna do stuff with Blue Lotus. Do you know what Blue Lotus is?
Ooh, we just tried some of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Egyptian.
Yeah, I take it as part of my cocktail when I take high doses, and it's one of the only herbs depicted in hieroglyphs. And all the white archaeologists are like, no, they're just smelling the flower. They don't actually consume it. Like, what?
Well, speaking of
So it smells so good, we're gonna carve it into
Yeah.
this rock right here and worship it. Worship the smell, the
well,
terps.
you said cocktail you take when you take psychedelics.
like a
Do you know
M&O
that's
style.
what Bob Esquino, former Incredibles owner, medically correct, he is involved in a company right now that is making a I guess like a vitamin suite that you would take before and after psychedelic journey on psilocybin. And I thought that was a great product.
So is the going in like an MAO and the going out like all?
So the Blue Lotus is an MAOI. You can actually, like, if you take a high dose, you can actually watch them interact.
Well, it was a situation where he's telling me about his product. I didn't want to go, oh, okay, tell me everything about it so I can go.
Well, there's companion spirits that I like to work with. You know, and recently I've started to work with Hawthorne, which is incredible. But when you take it with the psilocybin,
wait, Hawthorne the demon devil? It's a different Hawthorne, right? You have to clarify because in the cannabis industry, yes, definitely not what we were thinking of. Hawthorne is that they like bought Jair's company.
They own him.
He didn't get his testicles back for 2 years. They put him in a jar like Sam Kinison.
They just gave him back.
Yeah, for 2 years he wasn't allowed to procreate. Now he can. So they gave him his testes back. You understand what I mean?
There's a
speaking.
Damn. Well, it's a tree.
I got that right, right? Yeah. See.
We won't say the word anymore, but it's a tree, and it produces medicine that's really heart engaging, and it'll actually kind of put your heart in good rhythm. Like it'll I don't know how do I put this? Like help arrhythmia.
Ooh.
And it also helps with grief. It's pretty powerful. But taking it with the mushroom, it's almost like it brings liquid sunlight into the experience. It's wild.
I like Hawthorne, and I do a little lion's mane as well because of my stroke. I'm trying to generate the new neurons quickly, if I can.
Do you high dose yet?
I haven't high dosed in a long time. I would like to. That's what I was talking to you about the other
So
night.
take the high dose of both mushrooms, and you can actually communicate to the lion's mane.
Okay, I'm excited to try.
Wild shit, right? But this is all like this is the indigenous perspective, you know.
Experience with cordyceps.
Cordyceps,
too, right?
reishi.
I've done the chaga with it as well, and that was a lovely experience. I didn't do high dose though. I'm gonna try the high dose.
Well, the high dose is how it works for me. You might not have to, but to me, it just does the thing.
So when you say that they work, like you can see them working together, is it like fractals working in conjunction, or is it like
sound? Let's talk about sound. So if two waveforms are in phase,
you mean resonance?
We can extrapolate resonance, but we'll just talk about waves, right? And wave dynamics. So when two waves that are in phase, they pass each other, there's interference, and they summate. So if one's up here and one's down here, they cancel each other out. If one's here and one's here, they add to each other. And you can like see this happen with these beings. You can like appreciate their interference pattern.
Like synesthesia, basically, or something. Kind of.
I mean, we're using our gross senses to experience that. So yeah, in a way, it's like a blending of your senses to be able to perceive that, a multi-dimensional thing, you know. And we do our best to use words to like convey what that's like, but you can literally witness them intermingle.
There's a video going around, a reel of a 5-year-old who has synesthesia, and his parents are asking him the notes, and he'll say like, oh, you know, B flat, that's green, and you know, A sharp is purple. And just listening to him talk, you realize that I am such a muggle. I mean, I am such a muggle, and that is just, I mean, that you can't, that's not taught, that's your brain chemistry, that's how you're wired. And that
it'd be curious to see if the colors, you know, correlated between multiple people. Like, yeah, of course it's that. Like, you know,
like two people with synesthesia.
Yeah, both say like purple. Yeah, of course it's that. You know what I mean? Or if they have their own.
I mean, they're both
Shitty
frequencies
right
expressed.
Now, say that again.
Both color and sound are both frequencies expressed. You know, like you're perceiving frequency differences. And you have violet, which is the highest frequency color, and red, which is the lowest.
I mean,
frequency.
I imagine it would correlate. It would seem like it would, you know, if you're really tuning in on that you're not making up your own. You're like, hey, my color scheme's the way I want it. It's all mixed up, all ADD'd out. ADD rainbow, grays, mixed with color.
Any word from Mel?
No, but it's okay. We have other guests.
Fucking zooted.
You're free to roam whenever you need.
No, I just if there's anything that we wanted to talk about that's pertinent to the times.
I wanted you all to go over, if you want to go over what's going on with, I mean, you did a little bit with what's going on with 122 and
well, more or less what can be done in the short term, because it's not a lot of time, so it's not like we can sit around and.
No, it's happened. It may have happened. The House voted on it. It may have happened today.
Okay.
And then the governor signs it.
So there's nothing you can. There's really nothing we can do really at this point.
Well, he did it. He showed up with Katie and 200
yeah,
people.
we really impressed upon them that we want to have voice in this, and that this process has moved entirely too quickly.
Well, that's good. That's the most important points almost in the
yeah. So now, we get to kind of like proceed with the container that the governor is about to sign into law. So one of the things that I'm going to do is educate and gift microdoses. As many as I can.
There you go. That'll help.
That's beautiful.
I fucking love you.
You
are really
incredible.
well. You have such a big heart. I mean, you have such a big heart, and you're not a one-trick pony. You come at it from all angles. I really appreciate you.
Thanks. I made a commitment at some point on this path, and service kind of emerges out of that. And there's a lot of people that ask me about, how do I get paid? And I'm like, well, I access bliss. My work allows me to access bliss, and that's the jackpot in my opinion. If like in life, if you can experience, you can't buy that. So I also like to tell people that I'm an elder in training. I put the letters EIT after my name.
That's what Mark and I do over here every week.
Yeah.
Because you get older and older and older dealing with Adam and I?
We learn.
Okay.
Well, my grandparents were elderly, and they would say to me, don't get old.
Right.
That was their sagely advice.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So, fortunately,
you can only avoid that for so long, right? You're like, okay.
No, right. Eventually, attrition shows up, and you're not as young as you used to be. But fortunately, there are wisdom traditions on this planet that have figured out how to, maintain mental and physical flexibility. And we just have to do that. It's practice. So fortunately, I'm the first generation in my lineage that I know of to be able to age gracefully. And not eat white bread, shit like that,
Oh, that's going to be another show where we're going to talk about potassium bromate. But,
Really? Are we?
Yes. Yes, a whole show.
Wow.
Because we don't talk about cannabis.
Yeah.
No, we won't talk about that. But, it should be, I'm sure it's a topic somewhere. But, I mean, it's not allowed outside the United States.
Oh, I know.
In food products.
We're very unique in our idea of what bread is and things.
What food
Our bread
is.
more like things painted brown with stuff, and you're like, it's not necessarily bread.
Yeah, we have to qualify the difference between food and something that just takes up space in your body and causes inflammation.
That's pretty much that's the American way. That's the American way, right there. Inflammation steaks.
Because we have these trauma-informed kind of triggers, and food seems to be this thing that satiates it. So we're just caught in this cycle without the education and without the options to satisfy that in a different way.
Well, maybe the microdoses you're handing out to people will open a lot of minds to.
Did you guys cover the 12 foot by 12 foot grow space thing that they were talking about?
We didn't talk about it today, but that was the. I don't want to call it a compromise, but they had to set some parameter so that when law enforcement comes in, that there's some sort of guideline. So 12 feet by 12 feet.
Did they use the term when law enforcement comes in?
So the discovery of natural medicine is okay to initiate an investigation, a search. The presence of natural medicine is enough to allow them to look for more. That's in there.
Oh.
Yeah, so normally, right, when you decriminalize something, like that's where the policing stops, and that's one of the things we hammered on because of the vague necessary amount to share.
Yeah,
See,
that's the lamest part of the
I
whole
would have been yelling if I had known that one. That one I yell louder than they might gut the home provision. It lends towards what we were saying, what you were saying, that we then regurgitated because we agreed that it was a poorly written bill.
Well, either that or some geniuses wrote it knowing that how all this would shake out. I haven't figured that out.
Also,
I got in trouble. Yeah.
I was gonna say if they really cared about it, I feel like there would be a third dimension on that restriction. You know what I mean? Like,
right now, who says we can't
like,
take a shipping container and
dogs
upend
pissed
it,
off.
right?
go get a 12
Good
by 12
boy.
and just
Good boy.
take it sky high.
Well, that's the that was the
that's
weed.
it.
That was the whole weed concept back in the day too. It was like, if you don't say the height, we just keep on going up. But
What is that?
it doesn't really work.
You
very
said
well. That's,
what is it?
12 by 12.
12 feet by 12 feet.
But there's another dimension.
But
They don't specify.
the only two that they
So I
14 foot is a nice style. Make
No,
sure-
but I know for a fact that some people will
We can
have
stack
a
a tub.
small thing, tub over tub over tub. and
40
yet
tubs is about what you can fit in there, but that doesn't include your lab space.
So they'll use whatever the square footage of the grow is, each one additive.
I don't. As of right now,
shut
it
the
has
hell up.
it has yet to be. So case law is going to determine how this looks, right? The first
It's like
person.
the weed, it's like the free weed with the T-shirt. Everybody thinks they come out with genius. I'm a genius. I'm gonna sell T-shirts and give you free weed.
Oh, that's how they do it in Washington D.C. with
No
mushrooms.
one's ever thought of that. I know. It's like the first wave of people hustling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the hustle. The first hustle is that, and they get kind of.
Well, here's the thing. We said in cannabis that we're not even in the game yet, that we're still in spring training. Well, then that's the equivalent of where we are. We're not even in spring training.
yeah.
We're like 9 people sitting around going, I think we should play the game of baseball with 9 people. I mean, it's a conceptual moment.
We're gestating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair assessment. My main concern is that someone's going to have a 12 by 12 situation, and the cop's just going to nudge that tub over a little bit and be like,
Yeah, or I mean
Or
they'll just see the reality that people are so fucking efficient that they can take a 12 by 12 and just crush. You know what I mean? Be like,
well,
No, well, here's the business then. You're going to sell a fucking thing.
12
that
by 12,
A 12
yeah.
by 12. You know what I mean? It's called the
this
mushroom
is actually
zone.
a really amazing idea.
Yeah, I mean, we sell it. It's an absolute tape that goes around it, and as you move it, it pulls in. If you push out, it pulls in.
Look at you, Dave. Oh,
And that's it.
Yeah.
until you have a mass
Write it
gnat
down. Write
So
this
the
down so you
infestation.
remember it. Like you said earlier, I had a great idea. Just remind me that I had it.
Oh, yeah, I totally
We're
forgot that one.
recording
That
the
was-
show.
You'll never forget that. No.
This is. Remember, you were like, I'm so nervous, and I said you're gonna just sit down and forget. Well, you forgot, didn't you?
forgot.
Good, that was your moment. There you go.
Slow motion this side.
Basically, what it comes down to is we're always the same as we are with cannabis. We're always going to come. We're all going to work around. However, we're going to work around. They're going to come up with some bullshit. We're going to work against it. We're going to come up with like if they say something dumb. We're going to go. We're going to make the most of it. Just the main thing is that they don't get like too overly,
Big
aggressive
brother
on-
about it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's going to come down to
I don't think they have
the
the
locality, what that looks like, and if they're taking out their frustration on the state, on an individual, because case law is going to determine what a necessary amount to share looks like.
That's the stupidest part of it all.
Might be some problems later, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
I wish somebody would have come on this show a year ago to warn us about
I
this
know,
bill.
man. Why didn't they do that?
I mean, I played the role of the Lorax pretty well. I tried.
We did.
And it's okay, like we're here now.
Well, I didn't even. I forget his name. If you're listening to the show and you were our friend that was out in the parking lot for Bar Turptown, engaged in a great idea, a great home business, selling mushrooms that we love, that we are all about, and you told me to lose your number because the show wasn't in support of 61 at the what was the no, whatever the one that became 58 that became 122. Maybe it's time to come on into the studio and let's hang out because.
Oh, we had it all lined up. You know, we were like, he's coming in. It's gonna be great. He's bringing a dab bar. He's gonna bring the whole dab bar.
Yeah,
I mean, then it was like, what? Lose my number. I was like, wow, Dave, you really struck a chord.
What do you mean? He said he was coming in to talk all about his support of 58, and I said, I'm all about. Please come in, but I want you to know, Adam and I are not in support of that bill. We're in support of 61. And that's when I got to lose my number.
61 actually would have removed these things from the Controlled Substances Act.
You know, I guess if we had somebody come in a year ago.
Well, you know.
I'm grateful the conversation's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I don't fault anybody for wanting incremental drug reform. Right. You know, there's a certain level of assessment that I can give it, you know, because I've been on the front line ever since we decriminalized in Denver and spent hours in meetings trying to maintain defensibility in a decriminalized environment because the state law wasn't friendly. You know, how can we bring people together to educate them and it still stay defensible? So I don't fault anybody for wanting that, but the devil in the details situation was just too much for me to overlook.
It's tough breaking new ground and things like this and doing it right. I mean, look how bad Oregon is as far as it's
Do you know how bad Oregon is? Their underground scene is exploding.
Well, I'm just
because what's that?
I'm not even talking about just the mushroom situation at all. I'm just talking about Oregon in general as far as they went a little too deep there, I think, as far as everything is cool. So I don't know. What were you gonna say? The underground scene is exploding.
So because of the cost of these services, no one can really afford them, and considering the underground individuals will do it for way less, there's just so many people turning to the underground, and it's thriving. It's thriving.
Right. Well, which is exactly not what they wanted at all. So yeah, it's growing great.
But if it's really thriving, can it really be underground? That's the ground level. You know what I mean?
Well, the underground is just a reference.
I understand.
Right?
I'm just saying.
And I don't like the term because it positions one thing against the other, but I like to think of it as outside of the default consensus reality.
Traditional market, we say.
Well, especially when that is the real thing now, because there is no real framework set up. It's all still very just aloof, and there's maybe a couple groups with a bunch of money that are talking big talks, but just
there's licensed people at this point, but with the cost of everything, there's even a person with a YouTube channel that's been documenting all this, and for all the money,
watching that.
Yeah, all the money that you got to put out, she's got to charge $3,000 a session.
Oh my god! So what is the process in Oregon? For you have
you have to pay $8,000 to $12,000 to get trained by a licensed place, and then once you're trained, then you have to pay for the license, which right now is $10,000 a year. So the license, and because you fall under IRS 280, you can't write off any of your expenses. Huh. And you have to
have I ever heard that before, Adam?
Sounds like a win-win.
Wow,
yeah, no, it's
yeah.
sounds really interestingly fucking the same. It's the thing you can never make money. It's the situation where cannabis people are at now, where they're just if I was a normal business, this would all make sense. But without that ability to be able to write off anything, it just
the cost of compliance.
It kills you. Well, that's why they're $12,000 sessions and $3,000 sessions and stupid, dumb numbers being thrown around.
And why there's a $700 pound in Colorado and a $3,000 pound somewhere else, and why the water level is not the same because there's no interstate commerce.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I like to remember that the cannabis plant has 24,999 other gifts other than intoxication. So
Well,
why the
more
fuck
than
are
that.
we so hung up on the intoxication part?
Oh well, again, then we're gonna talk. Then we're gonna get
Programming
all.
within a culture that is constant.
Yeah.
Well, we gotta bring Jair on anyway. Jair.
It's a hard J.
Jair.
It's a hard
Jair.
J.
Now you have to say Jair.
Do you want to
Jair.
segue? Because I can segue at this point.
Yeah, no,
That's
I'm gonna
natural.
bring him on in a second anyway. You had to get. I thought you had things you had to do. So we're.
Well, I missed my opportunity to carpool because we started late. So now I'm just going to go to the place.
All right.
So I'm on my own. I'm on my own schedule now.
You're freewheeling now.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, then you're going to come sit over here because Jair is going to sit next to Adam.
Well, I can segue off. I just wanted to.
Yeah. Oh, that segue means like adios amigos. See how that's a segue. That's his.
What?
Segue.
You have any parting words like Andy Rooney used to have at the end of 60 Minutes?
Be the medicine.
Say it more nasally. Be the medicine.
My life is my message.
Thank you
so
for
much
coming in.
for coming on.
Yeah,
Really
yeah.
appreciate
Thank you.
Plenty more
And-
times.
Well, if there's somebody out there who needs access to medicine, how do they get in touch with you?
Okay, I'm starting a project called Microdose Mondays. So you can email me at micromondays@protonmail.com.
One more time.
micromondays@protonmail.com. So every Monday, I'm going to educate 10 people. And then once they sign a waiver and they show me their ID, then I'm going to give them access to the medicine.
That's beautiful.
Again,
That's
I love you.
What a gift.
Yes. We're not worthy. So
Where
one
are
more
you doing
time.
this at? Are you, do you have
A place called Shared Ground, which is a decommissioned church on the west side of Spear.
Okay.
Is it ever really decommissioned? You mean just like it's not used by the
still
Christian church? It's still a holy space.
Depends how you want to frame that. But yes, it's inhabited by spirited individuals.
Yeah. So one more time, just you get that, Mark?
Just in
Mail.com?
Yep.
Okay.
Sweet.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
And then, because I love y'all are annexed into the space.
Nice.
So you can just come and
Annexed. Ooh.
come and get them.
Very nice.
Mark too?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
He looks to make sure. He's
And
like,
I only gift the freeze-dried material because I want people to work with the.
That's like your
And
wafer.
the
That's like
chocolate
that's,
one.
That is such a classic wafer to give to everybody at the church.
Yeah, I want to try these
Right.
candies.
Because they melt
Or
in your
are
mouth.
they actually candy or is it fruit?
Yeah, pretty candy.
It's
It's-
cherry.
It's fruit that's been freeze-dried,
Okay.
so it's like astronaut food.
We just had that. We just had some ice cream the other night that was freeze dried,
at the
and it was
at
such a
Meow Wolf,
bizarre.
you know they have the little. You seen those
No,
ice cream? Well, you've had.
but I know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, a little freeze dried ice cream.
Maybe you're onto something here. Maybe what you made affects each person's taste buds differently, whereas we tasted
I remember
mocha.
him saying the
Yes.
word mocha. Like one's mocha, and and I thought mango, but pineapple. You're right. Pineapple, mocha. That's what I remember.
He admits to getting one wrong, the other he's sure. he's
100%.
right.
Yeah, you know me. I'm like 100%. If I,
I mean, I'll try. I could add cacao.
it was.
That might be good.
I didn't
Cow with
like
a
it
little
though.
coconut
Whatever it was, it wasn't as
cream.
good.
Oh, that might be
It
lovely.
was like meh.
No, yeah.
It was like meh.
Pineapple.
I'll tell you already because we had it. You
Yeah.
already made it. You just don't remember. It was. It was
I
meh.
need the to bring it full circle. I need the Harry Potter thing, right?
Yeah.
The remember all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Mr.
all the way from the Netherlands
Uh-oh, coming in.
by rowboat. We want you to know he is such a specimen. He rowed a boat all the way here from the Netherlands.
Yo, yo, yo. And he almost made it.
Almost made it.
All right.
Welcome in. Welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, did you? What
been a
about
while.
Danny?
He didn't reply to me,
didn't?
this son of a
Really?
bitch. I gave him an opportunity to have a funny bit,
Yeah, we tried.
and he fucking
Tried to get Danny Danko to come in.
to do his
Oh,
Dutch character.
He has his one Dutch character. He's got his own. He's one dimensional.
I got somebody
Yes.
who makes fun of. Okay,
Yeah.
I can do that.
Of course. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show.
I could
It's
close
been a
my
while.
eyes. It could be him. Just
It's been a
telling you.
long time, but
Yeah, it's been a while.
you're back in the States. And it was funny because when we were getting this place, right? You got a little tour, I'm assuming, right? In the
Yeah,
front.
yeah.
Vinny was like, what was the girl? She wasn't Annalise, right? But it was close. What was the name?
Who? Freedom?
The girl that was this place that you were like tripping out because when she came in, she looked and sounded.
At the bank.
No, the girl that came here to inspect the place. I thought it was Annalise.
Oh, yes.
That you said was like
yes.
his Annalise.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
and
yes,
it was one of those like the name was almost the same, and the girl.
You found a copy of my wife?
Kind of.
I might have. I kind of did.
Huh?
Get right up on.
Oh, get right up on. Ooh,
Yeah,
there we are.
There you go.
But yeah, it's kind of funny. I was like, oh, because how's she doing?
She's great, but yeah,
How's the kids?
that's the thing. Normally we were traveling together, and yeah, the kids kind of.
Cece, I just dropped her off at the airport, and it was classic too, where I dropped her off at the airport, and I have a front tire that was a little bit low on air, and she's like, "Oh, be careful." I was like, "Yeah, I'll figure it out." And then the fucking whole suspension just died on the car on the way after I dropped her off. So I was like, I managed to get her off. I was like, I'm not telling her until she gets there. I was like, oh yeah, by the way, car's dead. Because we were so close to him. If I had not made it to the airport today, oh my God.
On today's episode of How Fucked Up Is Fucked Up.
But she's on her way to Sweden, so with the kid. So
yeah.
There you go. Little role reversals.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun.
And you're doing a U.S. tour? Is that your plan?
Yeah, no, I'm already busy with my U.S. tour now for
Florida. You got all Florida out.
I've been Florida out. I've been over in the entire East Coast. I've been in. The idea is that this year I'm going to be everywhere in the U.S.
You play Madison Square Garden, and you're going to do Red Rocks here?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Good. Okay. Excellent. Now, Cervantes tonight is a neighbor. You can go play with them.
How was so? What do you think? Feeling about the East Coast is obviously blowing up.
The East Coast is on fire.
Right.
I mean, I used to do a lot in California back in the day, and well, I did a California trip, but that was kind of sad almost. I have to be honest. I mean, I don't like to see the industry in this kind of state. It's I travel everywhere, so I see it all. And yeah, if you see hydro stores that have no customers left, and a lot of places that I know that were really nice people are just not there anymore. So yeah, I come back in like of a barren land, and it's not what I was hoping. But on the other side, we have the East Coast right now, and it's. You can see everybody is like have that great vibe. That oh, it's all new and great, and I kind of enjoy that.
It'll be interesting to see because I'm always saying like as each state rolls out, the happiness factor is like shortened each time because the reality kicks in because it's like, oh shit, wait a minute, so we can't do that anymore, and like now you have to do it like this, and you're like, oh, that sucks. Oh, how much taxes? All of a sudden, it's the same formula.
But I have to say that the system in Florida until now kind of works. It didn't put out too many licenses, so it's kind of, the home growers are still doing their thing at this moment. I don't know how the new laws are going to look, but yeah, Florida.
Still 1 in 4 houses are blown out right now, just like Florida's always been.
Yeah, there's always a couple of Cubans, like.
Oh yeah, blacked out windows too. Got their work trucks out front. You know what I mean? Like you're like, damn.
But Florida's an example of how they gave licenses to like the 5 mafia families of the area, and they were all somehow affiliated with law enforcement.
True.
Yeah. The thing is, they've always had such a prolific growing sort of going on down there. I think that. They all probably realize it's like they're not going to go and bust everybody down because they also everyone's got their lane now, right? Your legal lane, still get your people as long as you're not overdoing it.
It's like the reverse social equity, and right? Instead of helping the people that were improperly incarcerated and affected by prohibition, they gave it to the cops who now still run the system.
So more of the same?
Yeah, pretty much.
More of the same.
I see the beast and of in the industry, but I also I hear a lot of people complaining, and I get it. If you're out of a job, if you can't make money anymore, it's all pretty gnarly. But I can still see the good sides also on it.
Absolutely.
There's still I still meet really nice people. I still get a lot of positive reactions, a lot of positivity out there also. And so
you just got to keep going to the new place. Go keep going to new places. Like, don't go to the old places.
Kind of. I mean, on the end of the year, I'm also going to be in Thailand. I mean, it's not just the U.S. that's happening. It's like we got all these places in the world. I'm traveling to South Africa to check the market there every year and see what's going on, and up to Swaziland, and now Thailand is coming in. And I mean, it's a global thing.
Oh yeah, it's really cool to see the places like that, like, you know, Swaziland, where, you know, at one point they were a producing place, and then they got kind of left behind, and then now all of a sudden they can kind of come back from the, you know, from the lure that they were. You know?
It's kind of interesting.
I have friends out there.
It's definitely fun. I mean, you're going to farm somewhere in the middle of some crazy forest with snakes and spiders, and somebody comes up.
Wait, you're doing that?
Yeah.
Holy shit! You should be filming this.
Well, I heard that before. I make some little snapshots for myself, as a tourist.
Camera crew.
Yeah, no, I know. Until now, it was kind of. I mean, for me, it's like checking out markets and seeing what happens. And if you stay going to a market, at a certain moment you find your place in the market, and you have relationships because you start to know the locals. And I thought about it, taking a camera crew, but you know, to have all those people following you with cameras, it kind of always also takes away from what you're doing.
Well, nothing ever works when you have the pull the camera out and all the magic is like.
No, joke.
Like, hey, what happened? It was so fun a minute ago. It's like, yeah, that guy pulled a camera out.
It kind of like, no, it really does.
Yeah.
So, but
and if you hide a camera, then it's even like you're like shadier, right? So like, I didn't know that guy was filming. You're like, yeah. Oh, by the way, sign this piece of paper because I was filming everything you guys were talking about. Like, holy shit!
Cartel
like,
party?
It's the last thing you want to hear, right?
So but like I said, I'm kind of also enjoying myself. It's not just I work hard, but I try to. Like I said, like Morocco is on the list, and there are like lots of countries. There's lots of cool stuff happening.
Yeah.
Do you need a joint roller while you go? Because I'm
that
willing.
sounds incredible.
Dave's been trying to sell himself to so many people. It's crazy. It's like anybody.
Where we go? Look,
just wants to go somewhere. So, and right now, like on our table here, you got one of the plasmas. Is that one of the plasmas there? Or?
No, that's actually the plasma was the first. When I created the plasma light,
this is the UVC.
This is the UV light.
This is the death
ray.
Don't go in the room light. Don't go anywhere near
it's
light.
the same death rays as the sun has. I mean, there's nothing.
But the sun is
concentrated death ray.
Away.
Actually,
Tesla technology or no?
So no. I mean, in the last, let's say, 12 years, we've been working on a lot of new lighting technologies that you guys have seen that were all made mostly for creating a higher yield. You know, people just needed to go from 1 pound per light to 2 pounds per light to 3 pounds per light, and
that's a book you got to pay. You have to send.
They should pay me for putting the technology on the market. To actually get the 3 lights.
Yeah, I knew he was going to.
So I will flip that on them.
I ain't paying nothing. I ain't paying nothing.
So at this moment, the efficiency of lighting and also the new LED lighting that's there really starts to get high efficient. So the game is not anymore in how to get higher yields. The game is how to get better quality. Yeah, and we've been working with the power spectrum for a long time, and that's photosynthetic active radiation. It's what normally we say a plant needs. But we already figured out, mostly for decades, that things outside the power spectrum also do things for cannabis plants. I know that Jorge Savantas talked in his books about UV, same with Ed Rosenthal, already 20 years ago.
And also, like, altitude increases the UV because you're higher up. So, like, for instance, if you're growing and that's kind of where, like, always a good weed would grow higher
up because you have higher UVs. And so you always had the outdoor grower going like, well, we have these sun terps. And so for me, it was, I think the first time I had this idea was with the plasma. It was 10 years ago, but the plasma wasn't powerful enough and only had some UVA. And we're now coming with a light that has a full spectrum UVA,
it's like
UVB,
I think it was 12 years ago when you guys did first plasma. Because I remember we were at the show, and then was doing a Cannabis Cup, and I was like, oh, can we do this at the Cannabis Cup? And we showed it there, and it was interesting because at that show, it was at the Rye, when and you guys had the light sitting like that, upside down, and you couldn't even see it because the sunlight was coming through those windows, and it was like a weird, like it blended in so well. And then you turned it, and you were like, "Oh yeah, it's exactly the fucking same color, right there." It was really, really cool to see.
But like I said, it didn't last long enough. Too much breakdown, too expensive.
Yeah.
So you always have a Gen 1. This is kind of the Gen 2, and it took a couple of years.
As long as it's not water cooled. That's it. No water cooled. That was the worst ideas ever.
I think water and
what's wrong with the water and electricity?
It was such a dumb phase.
But honestly, there were so many dumb phases. You remember those? You remember those big reflectors with those air cooling and stuff like that?
Well, I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, all of them.
You probably grew with those.
Oh yeah, for sure. The funny part was the funny part was though, like in Holland, everybody was growing with like classic little small reflectors, but they were also growing in these like tiny little areas with these like deep reflectors. Everything was wrong, you know what I mean? But then in America, everybody was growing in these big warehouses, but they were all using these fucking lights that were all air cooled and like wasting all, like you were just looking around the room, it was all dark.
I remember that I walked into those grows and I could like stare into a 1,000-watt light and it didn't hurt my eyes.
Yeah,
and
you're
I'm
that's
there's
not
something really wrong.
Right.
And I took a par meter and I put the par meter pretty much at the plants and I told the guy to stop ventilating the lights. And there you had 30% more light. It was just that simple. And it was just for a lot of years people getting growers to develop growing techniques it didn't pan out that well. And you can see it because a lot of agricultural technology has come in that's actually been great for cultivation.
No, I remember, because you remember when I brought the light to your shop. So
explain this. Explain where we know each other from.
Oh well, this is the best.
Prison.
Yeah, right. No, the best part was that Jair's shop was, what was the name of the town? I was trying to remember.
De Rijp. It was a little village.
I mean, classic Dutch village. Like it was because it was still pretty picturesque in certain areas.
Yeah, from 1600s.
Had like a real cobblestone center, and the vibe was small, like a small town, right?
It's like 6,000 people.
And so at one point, they wanted to open up a hemp store there, and
that was Permanent.
Oh, that was in Permanent.
Yeah, there was a Permanent.
Yeah,
that was in Permanent. It was a little bit bigger.
Yeah, and then so it was funny because I think you didn't. I think you were. Didn't they think you were selling clones?
No, I had KJ Trading. That was in the Rijp, a little town. That was my hydro store.
Yeah,
we called it the grow shop back then, but the hydro store. And Adam came from Amsterdam in his little Vespa cart, and
had my little 3-wheeler. For me, it was like going on like a little road trip, because it'd be like, oh, it's about an hour to get there. Normally, it would take like 15-20 minutes or something on the highway, but it's like an hour, and I'd be on these back things. And I'd get up there and we'd hang out. And the funny part was that all he wanted to do was have a 707 area code. That's all he was dreaming about. He was like, man, if I could have a 707 area code, my life would be perfect, right?
Yeah, no.
That's all he wanted. And so it was like...
I remember my first trips were to Humboldt. I'm like, and I remember...
Where was it?
Well, pretty much I got thrown all over Humboldt, and for me the doors kind of opened up.
That was probably like 2008 or something.
Yeah,
like that?
2008.
Yeah,
2008, 2009, like in that timeline.
Because it was right before I came here,
and it was like blowing up in Humboldt. And I remember going up there. People actually took me up to the grows, and you go like 30 minutes on a dirt road, and then there's two guys with machine guns and like faces covered, and like okay. So it was kind of interesting as a Dutch guy to go in there. And
I know.
And then I saw the dream, and I'm like, all I want is to go and grow wheat in Humboldt. I still remember that.
Yeah, and just like we were talking about the lighting, so I brought air-cooled lights to him and was like, we got to do this, because in Holland you needed them. It was actually like a good thing to have, because a lot of these apartments had terrible ventilation, so you could just plug them in to something. So it actually made sense, but I had to like manufacture them there, remember? And it was like kind of, we did like a short run, and it was like, trying to get people to, and I remember like you distinctly telling me, it's not the way you grow. You got to hang the lights up high. You got to create a grid. You know, all the stuff that now is just normal.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
it's like- because it was Dutch, tried and true.
Listen, I remember coming in with a little light in 2008, 2009, and people like you can't sell that in the U.S. People are not going to accept that, and they want the ledge low, and I'm like, no.
Oh, I know, they want like
this,
like this close. And
so then I pretty much had to start explaining grower by grower that no, you need rolling benches because we're not lighting like rows, we're lighting rooms, and you have to put your lights up high. And pretty much, I might have been, and this is just looking back on it because there wasn't a thing called a consultant back then, but I think I might be the first commercial consultant in cannabis in the U.S.
Right.
Because nobody ever explained. I told the people like, well, this is going to be the future, and if you actually grow this style, you're going to grow more, and that's actually panned out because people went from a pound and a half to 2-3 pounds, and that actually happened, and that was a big thing.
Well, I think a lot of it also is people growing for extraction and not so much for flower production, and they could grow like taller and not worry about it because they're just stripping it off anyway. So for them, it was like, and then you kind of like. Then everything made sense because you're like, oh, okay.
Benches.
You put a big slab. You put a slab down. You got a plant that's like 6 feet tall. That's going in a 14-foot room. You still got extra. You know, you have X amount of space still for everything. Because the problem is everybody now is trying to stack, and stacking to me is stupid. Like
I don't. Well,
I'm not a big
listen,
fan.
there are reasons for to do it.
Yeah.
But if you have
just spend all the money on that.
No. If you have a location, you really can't expand anymore,
Yes.
and there are no other possibilities.
For veg, I totally agree for veg.
And for veg is great.
Makes sense.
It makes total sense.
Yeah.
But if you have enough space to grow, yeah, 1-tier rooms
One
definitely
big
do
tier.
better.
Yeah, bigger plants, bigger. You know, just more per plant, less trying to stuff it in. Yeah, it is. It's especially when you see it with like those ones with the wheels on them and everything, and you're just like, what a waste of money. Like, come on, guys. Like, you're just.
It looks beautiful.
It does. I mean, shout
I
out to Miami Mango.
I come into huge grows.
There's some
tiers,
beautiful.
And I'm like, whoa. And then I talk to the grower because that's my job to actually talk to the grower. And he's like, I got such a headache.
Yeah,
because
of
it's those plants that are all up there. They're so hard to check and to see what's actually going on. And if something goes wrong, you notice it after a goddamn day.
Yeah. And it's like they're not separated by anything except for, you know, and spores fall, and so if you have powdery mildew, any phase of any of those things, it's gonna contaminate the whole thing. And it just, for me, it's like even hydro, because I've been there, and it's like it's great when it's running, everything's cool. Week 6, you're like, this is great, but then if you're like the guy who has to clean it out, you're like dying. Right on week 7, you're getting all nervous. You're like, oh my God, there's so much work ahead. Like, and then harvest, clean, sterilize, and with problems that people are having now with viruses and stuff, it gets extra scary. You know. So
well, the nice thing, like I said before, the UV. One of the things that UV does, and definitely the UVC part, and this also understand you can't be in the room when this light is on.
Yeah.
There's like it's a no.
Well, what
Dave,
happened to you?
Dave, you want to go? I need you in the room.
I didn't even
in
get
the room while the lights are on.
Well, first thing, UV is bad for your eyes. The same reason why you shouldn't be looking in the sun too long. You know, that's kind of a bad idea for your eyes. And the same with this UV light. So, you can't look in the light, and you can't be, because pretty much you're going to get a tan. That's kind of like
don't tell people that. They'll be like, oh yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not advisable. Don't do it.
It's not a good tan.
You can't be in the room. I mean, at this moment, the box has all stickers and warnings on there, because we have to look at things like we don't want to get in trouble. But this is a pro light. You have to know what you're doing. So also, because you only need one of these 150 watt lights for every 4 lights, that kind of also excludes like the real small growers with a 1 light room. So this is from 4 lights up that you can actually use this. But yeah, things like powdery mildew, UVC works great against powdery mildew, borderitis, all the microbials. And then you got things like pest control. I don't say it killed pests, but spider mites and things hate UV. And it's also the reason why you see it less on outdoor plants than you see it. But the biggest thing is on this moment on UV, and I think that's why it's going to be a fork in the road, is the terpene levels that it gives. So we've seen some amazing results before. Of course, before you put a light on the market, you're going to test it, and we've seen some really amazing results. So it's not a little bit of a difference. It's a lot. I mean, I have given this to people that make concentrates, because for them the difference in terpenes makes the most difference. And the stuff that comes back, I got people here that worked with it. That
would okay. As far as the terpenes might be increased, does it also change this? For instance, like the size of the glands at all, or any of that kind of things? Or
I didn't see.
Are you
that.
asking if it'll make your glands bigger?
Yes. Touch my glands.
Just making sure.
No, the thing is because it's a really new product, and I had the same with putting the double endeds to the market. In the beginning, I don't have a lot of data points. I only have a couple. I know at a certain moment the grower comes back. He's like, "Dude, I have a gnat problem all the time. I put the UV light up, gnats are gone." I'm like, "Oh," so I tell it to somebody else that also has a UV light. I'm like, "That guy didn't see gnats." He's like, "Now you tell me." Yeah, I didn't see my gnats anymore. I'm like, oh, wow. So it's still, I'm finding things in there, in that light that I'm kind of unaware of that come. I know it also is faster breakdown of residuals. When people spray, normally in agriculture, outdoor, the residuals from spraying are broken down by rain and UV.
Sure.
And indoors, we have problems, and definitely with testing.
Not enough UV.
So you don't have the UV. So actually, this will also help break down residuals. So there's this long list of advantages of using this product.
It'll kill COVID.
Yeah. Literally it would. But I don't think your plan's getting COVID, though.
No.
Okay.
Leave it to you, Dave.
Well,
So this was actually from my friend Gabe, who got that much terps out of it that he actually was forced to make cartridges because it ended up being an insane amount. So I would say it's definitely possible to get 1 to 2% more terps with a UV light, and if you are at 4%, you go to 5.5%. That's a huge difference, and I dare to say that between 1 and 2% is definitely possible, and we already seen that. So definitely for concentrate makers, I would actually want to put it out there. If you are a licensed grower, and sorry I have to do this with licensed growers right now, and you want to test a UV light in your grow, connect to us, and we're going to take a look and connect to you. And if you kind of passed our standards, I'm
pretty sure we know 1 or 2 people.
Sniff test.
I would challenge everybody, like, come around, because I can talk here for an hour about some stupid UV light, but if you see what it does, and I did the same with the double-ended, like, people should just, I'm just a nice guy trying to put lights in people's hands. The light will sell itself, so I just need to make sure people are aware it's there, and you should try it. And you actually, I would dare to say that looking at the amount of extra terpenes it will make, you will make it back in one run.
I don't speak English.
I think, and actually, it might even the first run actually already get profit out of it. So
look at that! Look, damn! If we had a sound effect there, it would be like you hear the.
There she is.
Oh yeah, that makes my heart.
I'll send it to.
How long ago was that?
Why don't you tell everybody what you're talking about?
I see his little.
Sending it to Vinny.
I see his little Vespa card, and I think that was.
This is what I would go pick up all my stuff in.
I think it was like how long ago did we meet each other? And I was young, dude.
This was about. Well, that was in around 2000 and. Originally or this?
Yeah, originally. No, where we went.
Oh, 2004.
Yeah, something like that.
19 years ago.
Yeah.
Dang.
No, more than that.
Jay turned 19 yesterday.
19 years.
Don't ask me about math.
and he had his little. He has like his clothing store, his hood lamp store in Amsterdam.
You were saying your wife still has the coat.
Oh yeah, she wears that coat for I think already 15 years already.
What is that sound going?
That's Vinny trying to get all melodic. and get us in trouble. He's like, this
I
will get
play
us in trouble.
theme songs while you guys mention stuff.
Oh, theme songs. That was a theme.
I didn't get.
I still have to get used to the pure joints.
Yeah, just pop. Yeah, this is yours now. You keep that. This
Oh, you
is how
keep
we,
that.
we share.
Ah,
So we
okay.
don't
Okay,
we
we
share, but we don't share because you got all those nasty Amsterdam things, you know.
Oh, yeah.
no, these are actually really cool. This guy, one of our sponsors. So you give them to everybody, then you can share joints because the guy was sad after COVID because
I
everybody
have to
stopped
be
sharing.
honest on
And it
big
hits really well.
cannabis festivals. I'm not sharing joints anymore. After I have the
That doesn't say
whooping
Breaking
cough,
Bad.
and I don't know what kind of wook flus I got
There you go.
on some of the
4 more there. That's
it was horrible. So yeah, if I'm on like cups or things like no, I will roll my own
We'll
joints.
give you a box of these.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, that's great.
That's lighting innovations. Look at that. They need their own custom ones.
This show is worldwide.
So there. Oh yeah, you put it up, and then I didn't even talk about it. There was my Vespa car. There it is. Oh, in all its glory.
Oh, that's a
Oh yeah, that was back in the day.
So cool.
That does not
It's
say
in
Breaking
it's in
Bad.
Estonia, right? My friend's house in Estonia.
But this is the mist from Gabe. Try it.
I didn't
It's,
even check it out. What was it? What strain do you know?
the mist.
The mist.
Yeah,
With a T.
I
Purple
think so.
mist.
I think so. Like I said, this is UV grown, so it's kind of like
UV grown. Oh, this is.
Oh, I see what you're going for now.
well,
UV grown. There
Yeah.
you go.
there you go. But like I said, it's the same when I introduce the double-ended lamp. I think this will be just as impactful, but this time not on the weight of the plant, but on the quality of the plant. And
Now, how would you mix it with the LEDs, for instance? Just because it's like different technology since.
well, you mix it with LED, no problem. So you take 4, let's say, top lights, commercial LED lights. I mean, those spiders are different. They're made for multi-tear, low ceilings. This is not a real typical
No, I
low
wouldn't
ceiling
no, I
light.
wouldn't- no, I
you
wouldn't-
need to have
wouldn't
distance,
imagine that.
that just like HPS.
Puts out a lot of heat, that
So,
one.
but it doesn't matter if you can put it. Actually, some people have a problem with because the spectrum of LED is kind of different than HPS.
Yeah.
It also changes some things in the terps. You can actually taste it. Some you can see the differences in the expression of the weed if it's grown in the LED or HPS. At this moment, I see all kinds of different things. I've seen rooms with HPS and UV, rooms with LED and UV. I've seen rooms with checkerboarding, HPS, LED, and UV. And I'm not sure about the winner yet because the UV is so new and it's all pretty new technology. That's awesome. And it's all pretty. It fits on there.
See.
And
Come on.
but it's all new technology, and the problem is that
Jesse.
Come on. now.
Look.
and like I said, the problem is data points, and we have that problem in the entire industry because there are so many technologies out there right now that we have data points for tomatoes and data points for all kinds of food production and food crops, but those data points don't exist in cannabis.
Does fit good.
So there needs to be a lot more university testing. At this moment, we have this light hanging in the Ver, the Wageningen University, and
Yo tips on a pen? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh shit.
Fits
Yeah,
perfect.
that's
Let me ask the hard question then. Is this your technology? Is this you invented this type of
Him.
spec? You personally?
well, I didn't. It was actually the universe that did it because I just tried to simulate it. So I'm not religious. Otherwise, I would say God did it, you know. But I, like I say, it's part of the spectrum of the sun, and we just try to find the technology to mimic that. So is it easy to do that? No, it's not easy. That's a lot of years of engineering that's right on the table. That didn't come. The first light, I mean, we did all kinds of things. I purposely killed plants with UV lights just to see what happens out there.
Well, remember back in the day when in Ellesmere when Gavita was still that factory or whatever that warehouse was.
I think not everybody knows that I used to do Gavita back in the day.
For sure. Well, yeah, it's just like that's I think where we maybe even met before.
Oh, way before.
Like, and that was like when they had those weird bulbs, which were
with the internal reflector.
Internal reflector with the. And
Those
also,
are actually good lamps.
I thought they were the best at the time.
Yeah.
They were amazing. They just had like. I wouldn't say a huge failure rate, but there was a kind of
No, there was a kind of a failure rate.
It had a failure rate, put it that way, where you'd be like, if you bought enough of them, you're like, fuck, there's like 9 out of 100 that didn't work.
I tried for many years to actually make a double-ended internal reflector lamp,
Yeah,
and
it was shaped like
we totally failed on that. But
yeah, it was shaped like kind of like a
like a football, like an American football.
Yeah, it was a very, very unique bulb. And then the problem was that because of the internal reflector, you had to have that. The weak point was where the connection on the thing spun. So you had a spinning.
And not all technology, and as every company does. Sometimes you put out the technology, you're like, oh, that's great, and it actually is great, but it misses out on certain factors, and after a couple of years, you're like, okay, let's discontinue that and try to make new innovations. But also, we're a tech company, like literally. We make technology. So you have to innovate, because at the moment, if you're not innovating as a tech company, you're kind of at a standstill. So I look at horrible big companies like Apple. They come with, you want to come with something new to stay as an exciting company every year or every 2 years. And what the fun thing is that horticulture actually allows a lot of new innovation, and actually cannabis, because there's not a lot of done for cannabis. This is the first true cannabis light that you use for growing. The rest was just horticultural lights that were used for cannabis. So this is, I dare to say, the first cannabis-specific light.
So that was my question. So this technology is available through you and no one else right now?
Yes.
Beauty.
So
it's called first to market, and if it will be a disturbing technology, we will see. I think it will be a disturbing technology, like the double-ended was back in the day. But
is it able to be mimicked with LEDs yet?
Yes.
Okay, so there will be people doing LED versions of that.
No, the LED.
He was asking if the spectrum can be
mimicked,
recreated with LED diodes.
No.
Excuse me, that was
Now,
redundant.
if that was possible, I would have done it, because LED has certain advantages. But the problem is there are UV diodes from LED. The biggest problem is that the first people use low-grade ones. They only have a little bit of UVA. So all those diodes that you see, all those UV diodes, is just UVA, and then also very narrow spectrum, because that's the way diodes work.
Sure.
It's never a broad spectrum. That's why you need all those different colors.
Right.
So it just has a little bit of UVA. So that's not a problem. You can stand under it. It's not an issue. This is like a rocket ship compared to a UVA diode. So if I could do it with diodes, I would have probably done it. I tried it. We're still trying. I mean, development is ongoing. I mean, if I find, I'm not a diode manufacturer, but we work with diode manufacturer for our LED lights. So I'm looking for the newest technology, see what's out there, and then we're bringing it in, and we're building a fixture, and it doesn't work, and we throw it somewhere in a corner. And every company in tech has one of those corners where you can find all kinds of Frankenstein kind of.
I love those corners. I love those corners sometimes.
Those are my favorite piles.
It's the trade show that didn't work and the thing.
Yeah, no, just an engineer going crazy and making something that's so expensive that nobody would ever buy it or something.
Well, what is your background? Are you an engineer, or were you just a pot grower?
I'm not an engineer. I'm a pot grower.
Yeah.
And I started when I was 16. Was my first grow together in the basement of my mother, together with my mom. Sorry, Mom. And
well, you were a disruptive pot grower, because you obviously asked questions when people told you what it was about. You asked a question and disrupted the industry by changing the height of everything.
Yeah, and I don't need to engineer anything. I just need to hire. We have a great crew. But indeed, it's like you need to get a couple of engineers, and you tell them, like, this is where we need to go, and you need to help me to figure out how we're going to go there. And that's this is the result. This is where we are right now, and just try to get to that point, and then for a reasonable price. And that's because you always can get to that point, but it's the way how you get there that makes a difference if a product will be good or bad, or because it needs to be affordable.
Well, Holland is like the ultimate place for that. Like, if you can make it work there, then it's going to work anywhere, because like the Dutch are like counting the fucking
Oh, yeah.
micro pennies. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
like I said, at this moment, it's actually fun.
Micro
micro pennies. Micro pennies. How many micro pennies was that?
The Wageningen University, what's the biggest horticultural university in the world in Holland, is actually testing that light right now on cannabis.
Yep.
They actually have a cannabis license, and these days they do a lot of testing on cannabis.
Doug was working with them for a while, trying to get our genetics in there, and
Yeah.
they, in the end, it was like, yeah, they even wanted to work with all of ours, but they got their hands tied, and they ended up having to,
Well, that's always the problem. They get their hands tied, and then some other. So I know exactly. So it's really important to. I mean, I see the results with growers, but to kind of like show people what's really going on, it's good to do like real, true research and true testing. And we need a university to do that because I'm not a scientist. I'm just a grower that builds a light to mimic something that the sun does to see what happens on your plant. And sometimes it's just amazing. And sometimes you adopt another technology and then you change that into whatever you want it to be. I mean, it's all legit. It's all okay.
Well, I mean, his light was ubiquitous with the word light. I don't even want to. The G word was, I mean.
It definitely got Hoover status at a certain point
Yeah.
because people got used to or seeing that design, which it's funny because I'll look at it and go, oh, it's a fucking pot lamp. It's a fucking pot lamp, but it's a new version. You know what I mean? Because it was that classic Dutch thing of just how do we hang these as efficiently with one hook instead of two because that's half the work. Like everything about Dutch is just how to work smarter, not harder.
Yeah,
Like, everything they do.
it's all about efficiency.
100%. So that's why those lights.
That's why I'm here 10 minutes before the show. You're here 20 minutes after.
There you go.
Oh,
yeah.
He's flattered. He was here at 3:30.
Oh yeah. On the dot. Well, that's what I told him.
You are
So
efficient as
in
fuck.
general, like back in the day, it was always 4-to-1 with like if you had your sodium to your HP or to your metal halide, right? So you hang one metal halide higher and like let it blend in.
Well, the metal halide, actually, the reason that people love that, and it was the same for the 10K bulbs that we saw for a while from SolarStack, I think, and all those actually contained some UVA. The same with the CMH 315 also contains some UVA.
Which is
and
actually a good light
that's
too.
what everybody sees. That's why people love those lights. Only the problem with those lights is they didn't do enough production. That's why they faded out. Because, great, now my quality of my bud is better, but I only have half the amount because so we had to figure something out that I didn't take away from the true lighting that gives you the amount of weed that you want to grow and just add to it. This has no photons, so pretty much, I mean, this is not even a grow light. You couldn't grow under this light. If I just put a plant on this light, it's not going anywhere.
I think I remember somebody doing that recently, or talking about that, where they had a tent and they put a thing in, and they were like, "Dude, it's not working." And I'm like, "That's like you have to have all the rest of it because you're missing so much right now." You know?
True.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope not too many outdoor growers are going to be pissed at me for putting this technology down because that could definitely happen because now we're bringing in that one thing that outdoor growers had was those sun turps, and we're bringing those sun turps actually inside into the indoor grow room, and we're going to see all kinds of new things happening that we never seen before. So the next 6 months are going to be highly exciting. And we already have hundreds of units in the market, so a lot of growers within 1 or 2 months from now will be
have
so
better medicine.
Well, and it will have results and
some data points. I already told you this during the trade show, but I'm sure you forgot, and just I'll say it here. Live on
I was
the air.
too high on that trade show.
What would be really cool, especially from a commercial point of view, is if it had a motion sensor infrared thing that it would turn it off if it.
We actually tried that.
Yeah.
And the problem is there are too many things moving in a grow room, and definitely plants that tend to move. So pretty much.
Well, just on a doorway, I'd say, like right on the door.
Oh, that's what we thought.
Walks in, walks out.
There has to be a lock. It's turned on. The door locks.
It locks you in, and then it keeps you going, and it just burns you to death.
No, it has to be able to open from the inside.
What we're advising
Great
people
idea.
now is to put this on a separate controller than the other lights, and then also put the controller on the outside of the door. You just push them off before you enter. With every light, there's got to be a big door sticker that says "Warning: Don't enter the room when the UV light is on." So we make sure that everybody has that sticker. There's there's no.
It's like America. Liabilities.
Believe me, before you put a UV light on the market, you have to talk to your legal team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
by the way, you do know this causes cancer.
Because in America, I actually
5,000.
So in Europe, we kind of like if you're too dumb, you just die. That's okay. In America, guys try to protect those people. So I have to dumb shit down to like this really really low level.
Yeah, we just let them die off.
Did you just like give a slogan? America protecting the stupid.
Protecting the stupid.
America protecting the stupid.
Well, in Holland, you got windows you can actually fall out of, and everybody's okay. And if you fall out of, you can't sue anybody.
No.
Everybody's got to be, you're a dumb dick. You shouldn't be falling out of windows.
Why'd you fall
Here
out of
you got
window?
all protection. You're in a hotel. I can't even crack my window to smoke.
That's true.
It's horrible.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
All those safety precautions that you see. Go to Holland. Go to
They
one
don't
of
wear
their
helmets when they ride bicycles.
Yeah.
I know somebody who did that. I know somebody who literally, like, they were at my shop. They were like, they bought some mushrooms. They went back to their hotel, which is in the red light, and the girl was a couple, and the girl got into the room, and she was all excited, and she ran, jumped on the bed, the window was open, and she bounced out the window and, like, fell 2 stories down and broke her leg. It was like, oh my God, like, what a great start. She was like just coming up on the mushroom. She's like, yeah.
So
she bounced off the bed and went right out the window.
So if anybody knows Amsterdam, we have
cobblestone.
In Amsterdam we have the kennels. So there are no railings on the side of the kennels.
Oh,
Look
no.
at any picture. There are no railings. Yeah. So drunk tourists and no railings. I mean, they don't go well
on Queen's
together.
Day, it's great.
Yeah,
it's like super packed. You're like, oh, they're gonna get pushed
they're gonna
off.
get.
What about Willie's? Willie's, the second floor, the railing is up to your knee.
No, I know.
And
Just
it
a tricky-
overlooks the
Yeah.
whole...
So there's no.
Not OSHA
He
approved.
says there's no protection. You're the reason why we have all these protections.
No, I was aware of
Did you
it.
see did you see the trams driving through Amsterdam?
Yeah.
So how do you think trams, without any, they just drive in the middle of the street? Drunk tourists that are on their phone trying to make on internet and make a little movie go boom, boom. And I think every year we have
I think with
3,
phones,
4
it must,
deaths
get, it
or
must get
something.
worse now.
Sorry, you can't sue. You
Yeah.
shouldn't walk into a tram.
It's
You're
always-
dumb shit.
Yeah. You'll see the tourist who rented the car who tried to turn and they'll just get scrunched and it's like, and yeah, there's
wait, it's America protecting the stupid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Holland, if you're stupid, you're fucked.
Yes.
Nice.
Got it. I love it.
It's good for breeding, like.
Yeah, it's the Darwinism.
Yeah, it's the Darwinism kind of like way.
Well, there's the Dutch-American Friendship Agreement. We can go there, right? With
You
like
have to have
$4,000
10
in the
grand.
bank.
I think it's 10 grand. It was 10 grand. I think.
Well, the purple hair guy said it was 8. I think actually 8.
The purple-haired guy. That sounds official.
I don't want to say
honestly,
it.
and it's not that dangerous. I mean, he's been around Amsterdam for a long time,
I
being really high, and he's still alive.
Yeah, I lost a lot of shit though. Where'd it go, man?
I never felt unsafe anywhere I was in Amsterdam.
Well, the 80s were different.
It used to be like when I first got there, it was still kind of seedy and
it was sketchy.
It kind of like got better, and now I'm sure it's like Disney.
No. They tried to make it into a museum, and we are fighting because there are a lot of laws happening. They tried to close the coffee shops in Amsterdam for tourists, and we have to like fight their groups out there, like lobbying and fighting into the politics to make sure that we keep the hookers on the red light district, and we keep the coffee shops open for smoking weed. Amsterdam needs that raw little edge, and I'm an Amsterdam local. I don't want to lose that, but of course there are all kinds of really high-end people started living on those kennels because those houses got really expensive, and they're like, oh, we don't want to see that. So there's just this thing going on between what we call people importing and expats and the true Amsterdam local that thinks there's nothing wrong with what's going on right now.
Well, they don't know because a lot of them were too young to.
Yeah,
too young to know. Back in the day, that's the problem. Is now if I was there, I'd be like, you guys. I'd be giving them one of those stories.
We're getting old.
It is. Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is, it was, and even when, like I was saying, back when I first moved, there was '89, so it was like I was catching the end of the '80s, and it was like there was like this real raw vibe still there, and it just kind of slowly got milked out.
We got rid of our we had a huge epidemic for heroin in the 80s, and it was really bad, definitely.
Well, now it's all in here. Now it's all in Philly.
Yeah, no. Actually, we got rid of it. We actually got a lot of good programs and getting people methadone and make sure they have a house and can take a shower. And
America looks like a lot of places in America look like Amsterdam did when I first got there.
Yeah,
like,
it's starting to get there.
Like you'd step over the junkies to get to this from Central Station because they were all in front, and you were like, "Oh, excuse me, I'm just trying to get off my train," and they'd be like, "What? What do you think this is? This is where we hang out and shoot up heroin?" You know,
no, the Zeedijk was the worst.
Oh yeah,
and that's now a very hip place to live.
Zeedijk is where the man himself.
He's super hip. It's where Steve Hayes, Dewback.
Hey, shout out, Mr. Hayes.
You said his name though.
Oh
man.
shit, sorry.
Shit.
Now he's going to be so angry at me.
Helicopters are coming.
Oh shoot.
No one knows his name. Oh.
Come on now.
Shout out to Steve Hayes.
Steve, we love you. He'll listen tomorrow.
But yeah, it used to be definitely a totally different place. It was funny when I first got there in 89, 90, there was a festival called the Long Lost Bus Festival that was out in the east on the Oosterdijk or whatever it was. No. That's the other way, but it was going east, right? And it was just like way the fuck out on one of the katas on the very, very far where they had the passenger terminals.
Oh yeah, yep.
And they had this crazy
Borneo Kata, Java Kata.
Yeah, and they had this festival going on out there, and it went on for months, like literally like 3-4 months, and it was just a bunch of all travelers and caravan people.
I was on Ruigoord mostly. It was like big hippie festivals. And
Ruigoord was like a alternative town, kind of off outside of Amsterdam, about 10 miles maybe, something like that. And it was near the dunes and totally wacky. Like there'd be month-long festivals out there too.
It was fun, and they killed a lot of that. I mean, things changed. They tried to turn Amsterdam into a museum, so we have a horrible mayor that's trying to.
She's really bad.
No, she's really bad.
She's really bad.
And it's a funny thing. She's from a left-wing party, but she's like totally right-winging the whole country, the whole city. So it's definitely. I'm not very happy.
I mean, it's always been a struggle there as far as like, parking and constant construction, and the vibe was always a little bit like you weren't getting your money's worth for just doing what it's $40 a day to park a car here if you really went. Like there was always a lot of pressure there.
I have a private parking spot in Amsterdam in the center, and it's €16 a day. So figure that out per month, and it is horrible.
Well,
and
that's funny because that's cheap to me now, knowing how expensive they really like. They'll charge you that per hour at some places.
If you don't have the 24 contract for over the whole month, it's like 60 a day. Yeah.
It's nuts. Wow. So imagine you go to work, how much you're going to really make, and then you're like, nobody has a car. That's why nobody strives to have a car.
Most people in Amsterdam don't have cars. They have electric bicycles these days. Something we called a bakfiets.
Yeah, that was the king of the bakfiets.
Yeah, king of the bakfiets. So it's pretty much a bicycle with this thing in front that's almost the size of the table, and it's a great way for moms to. These days they have electric ones that are very fancy, and all the kids go in the front. And
one right here. There's one right here.
But he had a bakfiets. What is one of the most typical Amsterdam things you can have in the world.
You got to.
You should have imported that thing to the U.S.
It's still there.
It would never pass.
It's funny too because I brought over I had my. Do you remember I had they had the electric. I had the electric bikes that I got in Canada when it was like first ones coming out, and I went out. I bought this sick one, brought it back, and the Dutch guys were so pissed because they hadn't seen one yet. And I'd just be zooming past them, and they'd be like all pedaling into the wind, all like, in the wind, in the rain, because that's how everyone does it. And I'd just be like, go by, like, what up, dude? Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah, but
now they're everywhere.
Yeah, now they're actually everywhere.
Now everyone's got it. Everybody. See, I'm trendsetting.
I mean, you are.
And then, it sucks because...
well, Amsterdam still misses you. I mean, I kind of miss those days of going to your store and sitting in the basement and smoking up.
Yeah, that's quite all right. I got all his love
we're recreating it all here. We're going to recreate it all here. It's going to be all
yeah,
here.
No, but it was kind of sad. You have to understand that at a certain moment when everything started to legalize in the U.S.,
it just
a lot of people just disappeared out of Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And it was kind of fun, and I had all kinds of breeders and people that were in the also a lot of Americans that were still in Amsterdam that were doing their business overseas because America couldn't have it. And the moment America opened up, it got lonely in Amsterdam. I was like, oh shit, where did everybody go?
Well, plus Spain really took a lot of the wind out of Amsterdam too. So
so everybody just went to Spain and went to no, Amsterdam on that part is not what it used to be.
No, I know.
It's like me and Steve Hayes. That's kind of like
you guys are it. No, it's true though, and I've heard from multiple people that you're like, if you weren't there pushing hard, that probably nobody would be talking right now. Because the thing is that the Dutch are as progressive as they were, they always kind of took it for granted and didn't really push hard. Like it was always a little weird. Like there was a very small group of people that were ever like sounding the alarm and saying, hey, this shit's still not legal. We have to pay all these people, a lot of bullshit. There's a lot of like Mr. X shit going on over there. Like we'd be like, okay, it's time to pay.
You have to understand that still now there are not a lot. So I just said in the beginning that I used to be a grower. That's to say that in a podcast, like online, or talking to a journalist and actually saying like I've done this. Like
Are you saying we're not journalists?
No, we're done. Come on, look at us.
But you're not going to find a lot of Dutch people that are willing to go sit down and actually say that. And I can't grow plants in Holland anymore because there are other things I can do, but.
Was it true that they were even getting as extreme as saying, because I've said this, so hopefully I was saying correct, but that they were talking about like if you own a grow shop in Holland and you sold lights to X, Y, or Z and they got busted and they find a receipt from your shop.
Okay. Let me. So the cannabis lights or the lights for indoor growing, we sell to every country in the world except Holland, because Holland. This is the most insane thing. So in Holland they have something called the grow shop law or the hydroponic store law, and pretty much it says that if you have a light and it could be ending up with a grower, that you're pretty much complicit to whatever he's doing. And so as a global company, and I was actually doing really well back in the day in Holland, and I pretty much had to kill off that market because, well, I'm a global company. I can't take the risk on something stupid like that.
Did they ever bust anybody for it that you know of?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
From a grow shop?
From mostly grow shops, yes.
It sounds.
But they were probably supplying the lights and
but I don't.
I know you've never heard it. It's never happened. But how many grow shops do you think made deals with growers and said, "Oh, give me the money after the fucking crop's done"? Tons of them, right?
Oh, that was the way back in the day.
Yeah, so that's probably what they were like, more or less complicit. Like, okay, we're seeing that pattern develop a few more times where guys sitting with a whole, because the Dutch are also really good at holding paperwork, right? So they'd be like, yeah, here's all my receipts, and I owe $15,000, and so they're like, and the other guy's got his books and he's writing off every nickel because that's how they do.
Yeah, that's how it went.
And so definitely, they find all the paperwork and they say, oh yeah, you're going.
So the Dutch are fine being the pushers to the world. They just won't sell to their own people,
or even acknowledge where it comes from. That's the funniest part. They don't even acknowledge that cannabis is coming from their own place. It's like, no, guys.
No, they still like the government. We're still pretty repressed. I mean, you have to understand the coffee shops are legal, but growing at this moment is highly illegal.
Well, then how do they explain Soma?
So there is this law from 400 years old that is a law that has to do with wind breaking because we have a flat land. So they have a law that you can work with hemp and cannabis for wind breaking technology. Mm-hmm. And that's a hundreds of years old law. And under that law, all those breeders like THCs and like DNA genetics and like Soma and like the greenhouse and Sensi seeds and just Flying Dutchman and everybody. So that was the law that was used to kind of circle around.
Well, when I first started working for Ben, what was funny was they would.
Oh, now we're going really back.
They would take seeds and go into their greenhouse and just throw the seeds all around. Right, that was their whole deal. So that when the cops came in and said, And they'd be like, yeah, these are all seeded. And they'd be like, really? Wow, they look great. They'd be like, yeah, look, there's seeds on the ground already. I guess they're almost ready. You know what I mean? And then the guy would come to be like, oh, yes, it looks very nice seeds. Oh, these seeds look healthy. Yeah, they look great. I was like their big skit.
I'm sure that Sam that had those greenhouses, I'm sure that he had some weed also.
Oh, they all did. I mean, of course. It was all,
all filled out with skunk.
It was the interesting days just because it was like the Dutch were letting things get pretty out of hand on some size things as long as you were breeding, and it was just like, and then they closed that, they shut that down. I think around 99, 98.
But there's still
like that.
possibilities. If you are very secure, you can still pull it off.
Oh yeah, no, but there was definitely like that loophole was there, and Simon, I remember everybody was doing it, like everyone did the same thing, just like, you know, make sure you had seeds in there, or at least something seeded. You know, seed one little branch. Be like, look at that thing.
That's great.
So yeah, but
the loopholes.
there's so many loopholes. But yeah,
the Dutch are good too.
Come to Amsterdam. I mean, still
We
fun.
had that trip planned.
Yeah, it's still a fun place. It's still a fun
COVID
place.
Even without me, I don't know how they're doing it.
Well, wait again. When were we leaving again? What day was it? It was March.
Oh, don't go back.
There's a lot of people. A lot of people go to the Spannabis these days. You know, that's in Barcelona, Madrid, the big cannabis. Like
last month.
Last month, yeah. And a lot of people take the hop over from the Spannabis to Amsterdam because it's
you get a little boost there. If you like, hey guys, we're here for a sec. Now we're gonna go down where the food's better and the weather, the food.
Yeah, but Dumock
people
doesn't.
are trying to rip me off.
Mr. Hayes doesn't travel.
Yeah,
you got
no. We have to make sure that the community stays coming to Amsterdam. Definitely for Steve because he can't go to the community. So we have to make sure
the whole world needs to come to Steve.
Well, I don't know. We had an idea beforehand, and we're going to put it in play, and we're going to get him back on his feet again.
Nice.
Proverbially.
Oh, you could probably find him in front of the Bagheera or the greenhouse.
Yeah. Shout out to the guys at Bagheera or the Plug
or the greenhouse. It's one of those three. You probably see him.
Yeah, he literally is the norm of Amsterdam.
Oh no, 100%. It's like, hey,
norm.
If he's sitting out in front of this,
so let me explain it. Steve is an American dude, and as a lot of Americans did back in the day, they came to Amsterdam and they got stuck. Yeah. And never learned to speak Dutch, but doesn't matter. We accepted that.
He doesn't say that. He says, you wouldn't understand my Dutch, but I could understand you.
That's what we all say. We all say that.
No. Actually, he actually understands Dutch. I know that.
That's our whole style, though. We learn, but we can't not speak it. We're all like, what the fuck? Because people just go like, you sound like an old lady. Or you sound like this, or because the Dutch are really,
we're kind of
they're really lame at like.
Oh, we just say what we think.
Giving you any like kudos or anything. They're like,
no, we don't do that to people.
You sound terrible.
They hate people with success. It's horrible. No, we got like this real weird society.
It's like the Germans.
I'm excited to go over there and check it out.
No, they're very much like Terry down when it comes to like language and stuff. Like I had friends, every person that I know who learned Dutch was like had to. Like they were working in a business where they had to. There's just no way around it. And no other place that they would step, like if they would leave their little group and go to another group, people would just be like, dude, I don't even know what you're saying. You know what I mean? But they had like, because everybody's so like, it's like these little tribes. Because if you live, because I had a girlfriend from Maastricht. So anything she taught me didn't help at all because all the Amsterdam people would be like, "The fuck are you saying? You don't even."
Oh no, they sound no. Yeah, the South. That's
exactly like nobody agrees on anything. And then I had another girlfriend who's from the North, and I was like, "Oh, dude, nobody speaks like that either. That's ridiculous."
Yeah, you're coming pretty much if you speak like that. You're like a redneck. You come from the farmers, like. So he had like a redneck dialect. And
and no one wanted to hear it, so they were like, "Oh, you suck." And so I was like, "All right." And I don't know what it sounds like. It all sounds and you know, it was one of those things. So after a while, I realized if I just pretend I don't know anything. Then I like figured everything out.
Yeah, but I already know that when they're over 10 years in Amsterdam, those Americans, don't talk Dutch around it, but don't think they can't listen in.
Oh no, we know because we know all the little keywords. But when you first get there, everything.
How do you say douchebag in Dutch?
I think that's a specific. I think that's a real.
That's a very American.
It's like me trying to go. What is gezellig?
Yeah. There's no word for it.
Yeah, there are things that are just very
The thing, the thing about the Dutch, the thing about the Dutch, which is great, is that every time you get the combo, it's much more raw. Like the Dutch just take things and take it to the raw, to like a real raw level where you're like, wow, that just like killed the whole vibe right there. Like whereas Americans are all think that they're being all rough and tough with their fuck this and that, and like the Dutch are just like die of cancer. Like, oh wow, that sucks.
No. And we also have to say, business-wise, it's also different. Doing business with Dutch people is totally different than doing. I had to learn how to do business with Americans because Americans, they do what I call the dance.
Yep.
You know, so we have to do this one thing of business, but we're not going to talk about it as long as possible. We're going to have dinner and we're going to have drink and we talk about our children and and in Holland it just doesn't go like this. You come in, you're like, okay, let's first discuss this and then we go to the bar and drink. So I remember in the beginning when I came to the US, some people got like really they could see it as offended.
How many units do you take now?
Oh, I heard stories. I used to hear stories early on. It was something else, especially in Colorado. I want to say 2011, right? I mean, when you were really, I mean, it was something else.
Well, the thing is that
they're hard.
The difference is that Americans try to make it so that everyone leaves the room like all feeling like they got a good deal, like that's the deal. Whereas the Dutch, it's not like that ever. It's like I make the money, someone loses every time. And
no. That's not. I don't totally agree with that.
No?
But
I feel like that.
No, I don't totally agree with that. It's just you have to fight. I mean. I'm not there to make friends. We're there to do business.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to Germany or to any Scandinavian country up north, it's the same thing. People just don't beat around.
We have a saying.
That whole social
what I always got, which is funny because it was like the classic selling weed, especially, was that like I got beat up so hard on the sale, and then like a couple days later, when I hear the chatter, it's like they got the best weed in the world all of a sudden, right? And then it's like, wait a minute, they were dogging my shit so hard on the sale, like they were trying every angle.
Yeah, no,
it's too dry. Shout out to John and shout out to John Harry Katsu.
Back in the 1600s, we did that to the whole world.
Oh, you guys are the worst.
Those peppercorns you got in some fork. That's a little bit dry. Like they're not really good. Like genetic. And then we got them into Holland, and they're verf-born and gold.
The best of the best of the best.
Yeah, no. I will agree on that.
That's
definitely. Yeah, 100%.
They're really good at that. Like more than.
Well, you have to. The thing in Holland, we don't have a lot of natural resources. So the only thing we have is trade and technology. That's kind of where the whole country is driving on.
Yeah.
So and we have farmers and that.
So what's the deal with all the farmer shit going on right now? That's all crazy.
Well, it's all because this weird nitrogen laws going on, and the farmers are the ones that being blamed for the highest nitrogen. You have to understand, America's the number one food producer in the world. Number two is Holland. You have to understand, we're only a country you drive from one side to the other side in 3.5 hours.
Like Massachusetts, basically, or something.
No, we're the land size of Humboldt County.
Not even that? Wow.
No shit.
Really? Not a joke.
That's crazy.
Yeah, in Humboldt, you drive from 3 hours from one side to the other side.
Well, it depends which way if you're driving through Petroleum, honey. Well, I'm kidding.
But it's a really small, so we do real high intensive food production because that's kind of how you get to the second in the world. America's always first. We have like I get it.
Hey.
That's kind of
all the tulips too.
Well, yeah.
All the tulips.
Listen, we were the first country to have a stock exchange, and like actual company was a Dutch development. Also, the first stock crash and everybody running away with other people's money was definitely happened in Holland.
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
First Ponzi scheme.
And then we didn't discuss all the slaves and the drugs and all the thing that the VOC was shipping from one country to another. And
oh no, definitely were
in the 1940s.
Every vice out there was being controlled by the Dutch at some point, I'm sure. And then they just continued. They did a good job for a while, and then they dropped the ball.
And then you guys took over.
And then they dropped the ball in the weed. They were like,
they're always new empires. Like we're just an old empire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but there's a little hypocrisy there when only 3% of the Dutch population smoke weed, and then wanting to change the law about coffee shops only being able to sell to Dutch people.
To those 3%.
To those
Well,
3%.
also, you have to understand that actually the Dutch system that we have over 3 decades actually kind of works. So from whole of Europe, the lowest amount of cannabis smokers is in Holland.
Yeah, it's always been like the.
So that's kind of
like
interesting.
to sell it, not to smoke it.
No, but also if you make something legal, after a couple of decades,
it loses its charm.
it's just a regular thing, like a beer.
Yeah.
Right.
Here it's like still like, oh, fucking weed special. Look, freedom. We find like we're waving flags, and we saw that decades ago also in Holland. But things just normalize, and then it's not. Hey, if you see your parents smoking dope, it's not cool anymore.
There you go.
Yeah, like oh shit, my
Instagram,
dad is smoking weed.
No,
Like
it's
I'm
the
not
other
going to smoke weed.
LinkedIn.
No. What was the one before Facebook?
Oh, MySpace.
MySpace.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the reason, Jair, we feel that way is because 11 years ago, you'd still lose your children. You go to jail here in Colorado.
I remember
know?
that. I remember talking about tomatoes. I have my lines, and I'm like, look
Tomatoes.
you go to the hydro store.
Tomatoes.
Yeah. You
I
go
have
to the
friends that have lost their children over that, so it is a very
Yeah,
it's
CPS,
nice to be able to be having these conversations now.
CPS in the U.S. is kind of like. It's pretty serious, but I think legalization is good because I think, children shouldn't be. I mean, I have kids at home, and when they go to bed, I smoke in my house because the kids I put the filter on and I roll a joint, but I don't put the weed where the kids can find it or touch it, and I think that is the same thing as your alcohol or all your chemicals that you're cleaning with or your Tide Pods or whatever. You don't put it in your hands of your children.
Because your philosophy is if you're stupid, you're fucked.
Yeah, right. There you go. Dutch philosophy.
Pretty much.
If you're stupid, you're fucked.
I think teaching them about mindful consumption of everything, no matter what it is. I think
No,
that's
my son is 24. I have a couple of small kids, but I also have a 24-year-old. And he smokes weed, and I'm like, I'm happy that he smokes weed and not drink so much. And he comes to Dad. Well, Dad works in cannabis, so he has the advantage. So once in a while, I got a bag of weed, and I'm like, he's like, Dad, and I'm like, oh, here.
You didn't try to say, Dad doesn't work in cannabis. I'm in lighting.
What's happening with the extracts? What's happening with extracts in
Amsterdam?
Yeah,
in Holland?
still
it starts now a little bit,
Yeah.
but the quality is like the quality back like
That's
here
crazy.
when it started. I mean, at least it got away from open blasting.
Yeah.
You know, so
We don't do that. I mean, you get a lot of trouble here in Colorado if you're not licensed and you use butane.
Yeah.
I don't think because it's such a big.
Well,
Well, it's so small in Holland right now that I don't think it's on the radar. So you kind of like still. It's still we're talking about black market.
Yeah. No, it's always been a tough one. It's like same with edibles over there. It was always like, nope, it's got to be like boring and fucking it can't be exciting. If you try to make, like I know, Api over at Katsu did like the traditional Moroccan edibles, and they came in and were like, no way, bro, you can't have that. Like
The thing is,
and he's like, what are you talking about? It's just like
with concentrates is they kind of dare it as long as it's not liquid, because liquid is oil, and oil is definitely highly forbidden in Holland, and it's seen as a hard rock. So, but on the moment it's wax. They don't, because the definition oil to hash is kind of like a real shady kind of thing. From where does oil go to hash? And of course, we say that everything that's kind of solid and not flowing is hash. You know, that's
interesting.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
okay.
No flow.
Because we have
So they'll tolerate rosin.
And I mean, it's still fun
until they see it being made properly, and they'll be like, "Holy shit, that is
honestly,
basically oil." Look at
honestly,
that.
you want to smoke great concentrates? Go to the U.S. You want to smoke great traditional hash like Moroccan and stuff like that? You come to Amsterdam.
Yes.
I think that's just a different kind of vibe, and it's okay. I mean, I love I always take a couple of these pens back with me. And they're great. I mean, I love the American concentrate so much more than anywhere else in the world. But yeah, if I go to Africa, you smoke African weed. It's not always that good.
No.
If you go to it.
That's right.
No, you go to Amsterdam, you smoke Steve's, Nepalese, or the shoe.
Oh, yeah, God. I got a piece of shoe at home. That definitely is like...
I think it's going to, because now there's so much weed being grown in so many places that obviously the obvious next step is better hash, you know what I mean? And people understanding that you don't have to make, it doesn't have to be rosin, it doesn't have to be fresh frozen, all that stuff's like too extreme for most places. Like, see, if you're in a tropical place growing too much weed, there's no way you're freezing it and holding it and doing all those steps. But traditional hash, I think, will start to become more prevalent in the sense that people actually will appreciate it and pay for it, because that's the problem is, again,
But you have to wait to the U.S. for federal legalization, and then you could just import it in containers.
Well, that'll change it.
Where's the bells and whistles? Hold on, that's like if we, it's like,
yeah, that would be that. No, see, that would change the game right there.
Yeah, I know you would go out to all those countries and like, oh, let's go to Lebanon or let's go to Afghanistan and let's get a container together from all the farmers.
I'd call Mark Rose immediately and be like, we're coming into Nepal. Let's go.
Yeah, we're going into Nepal. Get some Manali and some hands-rub charas or.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. I think here, like, technically, would be a great place if it's one of the few places you get the combo of the right temperatures and altitude, which
it's very simple. Even if you would try to simulate their process over here, it would end up with a different product because it starts with different genetics and a different procedure and
soil.
Yeah,
I was just
most important. Yeah,
and stuff we don't get yet. That just. Because it's that. It just, it. When you smell that, when you break it open, when you put the lighter to it.
But I do like that I see some, there are very few at this moment, but I do see some people trying to do simulated traditional hash with American genetics, what stuff that they find here. Mm-hmm. And I think it's fun. I think it's cool to see. Like I said,
that piece I gave you, that was all dry stuff.
That stuff was so good.
That's why I had the vibe to it.
But like I said, personally, I like water hash or bubble hash. I like it before it turns to rosin. I like it better. I like to do what you just did, and just go in my palm of my hand and just rub it, and everything comes, and I put it in a joint or a pipe or whatever.
It's a more satisfying high, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like I said, a lot of people try to put it to rosin because they get a more higher value, probably dollar value out of rosin. I don't know why.
I people go you'll show them a beautiful piece of hash and they'll be like, I don't know, man, you should squish it, and you're just like, dude, you don't see what's in front of you. Like, why would you want to squish that?
Everybody wants to squash everything here, and I don't get it. Sometimes the product before is actually nicer than the product afterwards. It's just such a hypey thing that's going on.
Well, it's also because they want to dab it, and if you can't dab because you got.
We're old. We want to burn.
Yeah, and then sometimes it's the opposite, right? You have stuff that you can only dab, and then you want to put it into a joint, and then it doesn't burn nice in the joint because it's trying to run away from the fucking flame the whole time. And
a couple of months ago, I was in California. I don't even remember which town. Some little hipster, very trendy town, and I got into this dispensary and also kind of got scared. And I go in. The girl is like. I'm looking for something to smoke, and she's like, "Oh, vape pens." And no, I'm like, flower, and she looks at me funny, and she's like she makes the movement like, "You mean flower?" And I'm like, I'm in a dispensary, and she gets all like I get weirded out that I'm like, flower. I put in papers, I roll, and I make a joint. She's like probably selling vape pens and pre-rolls all day long, and it's
those damn pens.
I mean, this is where the market is going. It's just vape pens and pre-rolls.
That's scary.
No, it is scary. And I believe me, in 20 years, that if we roll our own joints, those young kids are going to look like, what are they doing?
Old.
Old.
These guys are old.
The natural. Listen, I'll be along there with you rolling my own joint, but it is just the natural progression of things. They want something quicker. They don't want to wait for it. They don't mind that it's done for them. It's a different way of thinking, and it's going to ebb and flow eventually, and it'll come back. There'll always be connoisseurs like us.
Philip Morris is trying to go completely flame-free by 2026 or something like that. So they're trying to go completely on only all tobacco.
Damn, I can't buy cigarettes anymore?
They're trying to completely eliminate cigarettes, which is crazy in a sense too.
How do I roll my spliffs?
Wait, what year?
I think it was like by like 2025, which is like not going to happen.
Yeah, it can't happen. They have to wait for all the tobacco users to die. You know,
Oh,
and they can't have
we're
new
getting
ones.
there.
Yeah.
Put out some hot shit.
Yeah.
Hot. No one gets tested anyway, so they don't. They're like, oh shit.
Test it for what?
They don't test it for
Right.
anything. They don't. They have no reason to test it. No
So,
safety.
How do people buy this light from you?
Let's get back to business, man. What is all
Pretty
this
much
talking around?
every store in the U.S. can order it at our distributor in the United States. We have actually our distributors here in Denver, so called 5/8 is our distributor.
PHIV.
Yeah, that's the perfect pH, 5/8.
Yes.
So it's getting us. It's just asking for it. It's very simple. There's one UV light on the market. Nobody can make a mistake about it. Just ask for it. Ask for a DLI UV light, only 150 watts. It's not even really expensive light. It's not crazy overdone. This will probably retail somewhere around $650. Because you only need 1 to 4. So pretty much if you have let's say a 40 light room, you only need like
10.
Yeah, like 10.
Just give you.
Yeah.
10.
Yeah, thank you.
But they can take 12.
It's game.
They can always take
game
12. They can always take 12. Why the hell not?
Pretty much everybody. For other people, if you're a licensed grower and you're like, hey, that's kind of cool. Connect to us if you pass the
scratch and sniff test.
Yeah, then we might do a test with you, and you're gonna get one of those lights for free.
Nice.
And just connect.
And you got to give them the data. That's most important.
Yeah. We want to know what you
We want
think.
to know what the hell happened. Oh man, I put it over there.
Like I said, the light will prove itself. I don't need to do that.
I saw some lights the other day that I was just like, it was a classic where you saw somebody who probably never grew before designed these like bars that go under the light, under the plants. Did you see those recently? That was like the Herm generator 5000 or something. I don't know. I'm not sure what
At this moment, we are way too reliant. At this moment, we are way too reliant on Chinese technology, and because that's just cheap and easy. And I can tell you the problem is, and I will tell you about one of my visits I just did in Florida. So I walk into a grow. This grow bought, let's say, generation 1 LEDs about 4 or 5 years ago when they started coming. The spider wanted with the bars. It was a multi-layer grow. So normally when you put those lights down, you have 1,000 micromole on canopy height. And we come in with a par meter, and this was kind of scary. And we had measurements between 600 and 450. So that means that the light in 5 years lost more than 50% of its output. That also means that you lose 50% of your yield. So the light, normally you would say an LED light should last 50,000 hours. Yeah,
It didn't pass.
It didn't pass, and it's kind of weird to see that because it's also a warning for customers. Like, understand what you buy with LED, because you have to also understand there's an end of lifetime, and normally on an end of lifetime your LED should be not something like 10% less. And because if you go more, then actually you lose too much money, and it wouldn't make sense. It's called return on investment.
Well, end of lifetime is 10%. Whether you can call it what you want, it's not.
Yeah, but the
way you
thing
sold it.
is the 10%. Are you going to reach that after 7 years or after 3 years?
And it's the same with like back in the day with HIDs, where you'd be like, if you were on a really making numbers, it'd be almost worth it to change it almost every crop, like every other crop.
No, that was the old single-ended.
Yeah, the singlet. I'm talking old HIDs. Yeah, because it was just like the drop off was like 14% on the first round, and then it was like another.
And then it just in the end you don't yield anything
You're like, well,
anymore.
wait a minute, 14%. That's cheaper. I can just
So
buy new
people
bulbs,
have to
you know what I mean?
realize.
So
People have to realize
it's a lot of ways.
and then we have to. We're a horticulture company, so we also sell in tomato grows and into cut flowers and like real horticulture. But there are a lot of companies that are just a Chinese company. They buy some shitty Cineoil unit, put their own goddamn sticker on it because they will sell to anybody and everybody, and it's just the cheapest technology out there with the cheapest diodes with the lowest bit numbers and old generations, and you're buying that and you're spending a lot of money. So you're still buying, I don't know, if you have a commercial grow, 300K of your Chinese lights, and I'm not even sure that some of those are going to last the 5 year that's promised. I mean, if I saw it grow with the first generation that was at half of their light output after 5 years.
But most people don't have par meters and they don't check those things.
Most people don't know what a par meter is.
Well, the thing is, if you ever grow, you want to know if your lights are still legit.
Yeah.
A par meter is the way to grow.
Yeah.
If we build rooms, we calculate and we make the computer simulations to make sure that you hang your fixtures on the right place, so you get the highest uniformity and you get exactly a certain amount of micromole on canopy height. And it's mostly 1,000 micromole. That's where you're really pushing those plants. So if you run in your room and you're like at 800, now you really need to start changing your lights, and actually you might be already too late. So and the same will be for LEDs. Yeah, the same will be for LEDs. So yeah, you go to your manufacturer, and the manufacturer of the LED is like, hey, we're going to put this much light under there. And if you're a smart grower, and I know they're out there because I do meet them, you have a par meter, and once in a blue moon, you take the par meter out, you got to see if those ratings in those grow rooms are still good. And then you have to hope that if they're not good, now you have to have a liability problem. But how you're going to sue that Chinese company, or the company probably doesn't. I mean, how many lighting companies have we seen fall off a cliff in the last year?
Wait, there's a question from the chat for you. How do you really feel?
Whatever grinds my gears.
No, it's interesting to see. I was just at the grow shop the other day, and I was looking at all these lights, and I was just like, damn, those are like some cheap, because like it's like $600, but it was huge, and like giant, like there's some of this, and that's like retail in the store, not even at a discount. And I'm thinking to myself, these things are getting like, they're getting too cheap almost in some of them, where you're just like, they're just like.
Oh, this is the problem with copying of technology. There's not a lot of things we can patent, so but the only way to win the only way to win is to try to be the first to market, and the second thing is to not be stagnant as a technology company, but to try to stay ahead and come with new technologies and new developments. And I mean, I can tell you, I'm not going to say what we're doing right now because my competition might be listening to the podcast, but
it's just us.
Yeah, we're going to make them run for the money. I mean, we're going to push so much new technology in the next 2 to 3 years. So we're going to make some huge headwaves, because people think that we're there, and then something like this pops up, or well, maybe some other stuff will pop up in a couple of months.
Well, in the energy industry, there is no new generation. So you just have to be more efficient with what you have. So what you're talking about is being more efficient and being able to produce more with what you have.
Yes, this is way disruptive. Like I said, this is the first time we're attacking quality through light.
So since no one is listening to us,
who cares?
Let's just say for a second here, you said it yourself, you are reliant on Chinese companies, right? So which means
I'm not. This is built in Holland.
Oh, in Holland.
We do our we have our factory in Holland.
Oh, yeah.
We do our own, and he actually knows, and we do our own designs. And we do our own development, and we are a true manufacturer.
Well, then what's the date, the over-under, on when it's copied
in
China?
Well, I know this because I've been copied multiple times. So in technology, mostly...
Look up Alibaba.
4 years?
No.
3?
UVC light.
Less. I mostly have a year to a year and a half. So if I come with a new technology, I have about a year to a year and a half to have a run. I have to be honest, on the moment you do that, you're the first to market with the new technology, you do get the biggest part of the pie. Because you're the original. People trust you because you know what you're doing, because you are the one that actually... And also, Chinese companies have the tendency to cut corners.
Well,
yeah, and
we know a good factory, we'll just say, but yes.
Yes, they have sure. Listen, you can buy really good products from China. Yeah, it's definitely possible. And if you have really good specifications, and if you have people overseas that actually check those specifications, you can get great parts. But the problem, if you let Chinese do their own stuff,
you'll fuck up.
Yeah, and most of those, I mean, they're. You have to understand that the LEDs that are the diodes that are in LED, they get binned. So if an LED manufacturer makes a diode, they actually have a machine that if they make a batch, not every diode is the same. Some have more output than others, and sometimes there's likely slight differences in color. And they have a machine where they flash every diode and they bin them. And now you can have high bin numbers and low bin numbers. Low bin numbers have worse color and worse output, and high bin numbers have really good output. When you go to Osram or Samsung, which are mostly used as suppliers for this, you can see it on the website. So you see the bin numbers, and then you can as a manufacturer, you can choose for a high bin number, but now you pay 50% more than when you take a low bin number. And you guys have no clue, or the customer has no clue.
Especially if they checkerboard
So
say 50%.
So you can save a lot of money by getting a lower grade diode that will have less output, it will last less long, and has an off color, and it's nothing you can see with your eye, but it's there. And then you have the different generations. So every other year, Osram or Samsung come with a new generation. So that diode is getting better. The engineers are making it better. But the problem is, if you're buying a light that is by a Chinese company that's spec'd 4 years ago, you're going to be 2 generations behind, and you're going to buy that because they will keep that light going as long as they can. And actually, the older the technology gets, the cheaper to get for them to actually make it. So they just start making more money. But you're not buying a 4-year-old new car. You want technology from yesterday.
It's like even when you buy stuff at the I'll never take the thing in the front. I'm always like, it's got to be the one behind. The one behind it is better. No one's touched that one yet. That's mine. It's got to be extra fresh.
So there's definitely a lot of education I need to do. Not being on this market for 4 years because of my non-compete, definitely gave a lot of people the freedom to start with a lot of bullshit. I pushed through the bullshit the last time. I will definitely push through the bullshit this time, because people try to make claims that are just insane, that are incorrect, and they can't prove the science behind it. And
40% THC, guaranteed.
No, I heard somebody that said my light grows 12 pounds. And I'm like, I mean, that kind of is where it ends.
Yeah, you just don't even.
Yeah, that's kind of like that discussion just fades away in like 3 seconds.
And we're moving on.
Yeah, and we're moving on.
For sure.
Dude, mine tested at 79% THC, man.
Yeah.
It was just
anytime
goopy,
we get these
crazy
claims, yields and THC content are always like the dubious at best a lot of times, you know. Well, I think we have to round
I feel
it.
it coming.
I think what's that?
I feel it coming. I need to go. You're going to kick me out.
No, stay with us. Look at how Tenzi guy got all nervous. I went, no, don't kick me out. I mean, you can hang around, but we're just going to
stay and do our commercials.
I would just go back in the peanut gallery over there.
Yeah, it's fine though. That's fine. And then, but we're gonna.
But the light stays with us.
No, the light. Shit.
Oh yeah, if you never leave anything on the table.
Yeah,
stays.
First thing, I'm okay. Second thing,
if you need it, no, of course
it needs to be used.
Dude, come on, what are you talking about? Of course, that's going to get used. I'll make you videos. I'll make you personal videos.
Okay. So
there you go. With me under it, getting
Jared,
I'm suing you right
the
now.
light. Okay. Jared
He
says
likes
okay.
it. He likes it.
It's actually his light. So
Hey, do you have anything else on you? I can pressure you into leaving. Let me see that jar of weed. That looks nice.
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, I think I'm going to step down and.
No, it's awesome seeing you. Always nice fun. I'm surprised.
Great seeing you again.
Surprised I didn't get hit up by young Carlos.
Oh damn! I just saw him in New York.
Why don't you just call him and have him?
No.
What did you just call him?
I was being nice. I could say big dummy, but that would be the normal.
Oh no! I love young Carlos.
Well, he got mad at me when I said his real name on the air. He's like, Jarnick. You know, you said my name.
What, real name? You should have said Big Dummy, you mean?
No, I remember I said Jan Carlos.
Oh my God, you said the name.
And I did it again.
See, he fucked up.
Oh, we're definitely shouting out to a lot of people tonight.
Oh yeah, we fucked up with everybody. Yeah, you fucked up with Steve, and we fucked up with.
Yeah. Oh God, if I'm home, my Steve is gonna.
He's gonna tax you.
Yeah. I know. I'm gonna be a problem.
Any reason to tax you?
Have your wife make him some matzo ball soup. He'll forget in a
minute.
minute.
The chicken soup will definitely do the trick.
Yeah. And say
Have you had one of my bagels?
I'm going to take one now because I'm
Yeah,
hungry.
please.
And there's a toaster right
Your
there.
show's not
Dude,
like
get
10
some
minutes or
elote
so,
from the
20
parking
minutes.
lot.
What?
Get some elote from the parking lot. I just got some of this fire.
Elote.
I was wondering what you were
Elote.
eating over there.
It's so good.
Oh, yeah, the corn.
What's it made with?
Corn?
Mayo.
It's got the juice.
Mayo, butter.
Lard.
Just ask for no
Get out
mayo,
of
man.
here. Get out of here. You can get whatever you don't want on there.
Just say no
So
mayo,
lovely to
bro.
meet you.
Hasta mañana.
You're missing out. It was delicious.
Yes.
I had a big ear
Thanks
of
for
corn
coming
when
on,
I
man.
came in.
Did you?
Yeah.
I don't even want to know what you did with it. Dun-dun-dun.
Probably left it somewhere.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, how about you?
Wrap it up. Well, we started late because he was in a
Yeah, we started late. We started late. It's all right. We're right on time.
Why is he
now.
breaking everything?
I don't know. Vinny's just going to play something.
He's just playing all kinds of shit, dude.
I haven't even thought about it.
I loved how, see, this is breaking the fourth wall, but I noticed off camera, okay, he grabbed the microphone because we have this beautiful pit bull in the studio tonight.
Oh, yeah. I
and
kept trying to get him to growl.
And every time he put the mic there, not a sound. All you hear was him on the microphone. And as soon as he pulls the mic away,
Goddamn
growl. Yeah.
Okay. That's what you noticed?
I pay attention to things.
Well, you're really like a producing.
You know,
All right,
I pay
back to
attention to
producing. Let's jump on.
Let's jump
Pay the
on.
bills. Pay the bills
Pay the
around here,
bills.
man.
Oh, you
look
wanna
at
pay
that.
some bills?
Tighten it up. Good
I
job.
know. That's what I do, man. That's my job.
Tighten that shit right up.
BuildASoil.com.
Just like it is that time of year to start tightening up your shit with Build a Soil. Because I was looking around my place. I was like, man, it's looking good right now, but it's things are about to happen.
We should have been giving a shout out to Carlo, the landlord, for a while.
Why is that?
Because he's hooking us up, and also
Yeah.
he's opened up 2 pizza parlors.
Okay, well, we can do that too. But
Where's the pizza?
Where is it? Yeah,
I'm working on
it.
that.
Works. Shout outs work like that. Like
we-
you have a
I'm
pizza,
working on it.
Shout out to
Tonight?
the guy who gave us the pizza.
But
It's almost working like
It's not happening tonight.
Yeah,
Just
but
stop getting all excited.
it's right next to a
You
plastic.
say the word pizza, Dave gets fucking all. Then he even has something else to complain about. That's the funny part. Is
Say
I'll eat some
mayonnaise
pizza
again.
too.
yeah, mayonnaise on your pizza.
I'll eat all of it.
No.
What did you just say?
Say mayonnaise again.
Really? You're from New York.
I'm not eating it. I'm just saying.
I don't care. You said it out loud, though.
I
mean,
know.
you would-
I hate mayo.
Yeah.
I know I
That was delicious. Whatever that was.
Because you couldn't order it without mayo?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Because you couldn't speak
We've got
Spanish.
a little chili, a little mayo, a little.
Our Mexican can't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Let's get back to
855-877-SOIL.
Back to Jeremy's and his amazing company, BuildASoil.com.
The only way to get the discount is to call,
Mm-hmm.
okay? You can't go on, even though it's BuildASoil.com, you'll go there to find what you want. But when you want to place the order, you got to call 855-877-SOIL.
I think
That's
they
how you do
give
it.
me a discount every time I do call.
Get right up there.
And they do give me a discount when I do call and ask for it.
There you go.
Good job. Well, that's the only way to do it. Just call it in.
Call it in, man.
Call it in, bro.
We broke it.
Like an airstrike.
Medical
Call it in
pa-
like an airstrike.
Medical patients in Colorado Springs, when you're driving down there in an area, city that does not allow recreational cannabis.
And you happen to have a card in your pocket. You're like, motherfucker.
No, it's on your phone now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Jesus. How high tech can we
That's
get?
extreme.
On your phone. Well, unless you go to the place where you have to have some type of extended plant count, but that's not there.
Anyway.
GreenFarmsMed.com.
Oh, my God. It's so complicated.
10% off. Just ask for the done deal, and
Just
they will
do
take
it.
really good care of you.
Do
They have
it.
some great products from.
They had a
some-
great cake.
Yes, they did.
They had a great cake.
But they also have what's the thing called again? I want to call it a hash hole, but
Oh,
it's not
my
that.
God. You and your hash holes.
What is it? What's the hash? Rod?
Turbo Core.
Turbo
Core, dude. Come on, man.
It's a Freudian block, man. I can't.
Freudian block is
Freudian
I don't know what
block?
it is.
I don't know if that's
Call it
even
a-
a thing.
What did you even call it?
Brain
up,
fart.
man.
Brain fart.
I can't even recall what you called it.
Hash holes.
There's only one hash hole around here.
Yeah. For real.
Yeah.
For
You
reals.
showed up here because of hash.
Yeah,
Anyways.
Vinny.
It's all because of you, hash.
All right.
GreenFarmsMed.
GreenFarmsMed.com.
That's right. Correct.
Oh, well, shout out to Cullen
A lot of green going on.
at
Bros.
Green Bros.
Green Farms, Green Bros.
So, you know what? Got some amazing feedback from Bangers about the grinder they bought.
Oh, good.
So if you are in the market, so Bangers is like the leading, one of the best producers of pre-rolls. They don't grow the flower. They process the flower into pre-rolls.
They just
And
bang
they're
them out. They bang them out.
They're using a Green Bros G Light. And they wrote to me today to say, amazing, and they're looking at getting more.
Good.
So if that's not an amazing testimonial. I don't know what is. So greenbros.com, 5% off if you enter Done Deal at checkout.
For Big Daddy, and 10% if it's a little bucket.
Which is 3 MTIs.
Oh, God.
I mean, you just hook it up to a drill.
Yeah, you need a drill in a bucket.
And you don't need to have weird, uncomfortable conversation over your podcast with me.
Oh,
kidding.
Wait, he used to make you listen to the podcast when you were trimming?
We listen to other podcasts.
Okay.
No one ever listens to. No one here would ever listen.
Greenbros.com and Bangers.
Yeah.
Bangers brands.
Okay.
Bing, bang, bing.
ApothecaryFarms.com, dude.
Speaking of bangers.
There was a line.
Man, they got some crazy deals right now, and they got these 8-gram baller jars for like $45, man. And it's like crazy. Like for
wait, $45 for an 8-gram baller jar?
It's wax. It's like the wax, you know what I mean? It's nice, like you know what I mean, but still, like you can find a good. You can find a good batch of them in there for sure. So go check out Apothecary Farms. They're carrying over these deals, I think, all weekend long for all these. So go check it out.
They are so
but
amazing.
Even their single source ambrosia, which is the stuff that you want, is
8
like
for $80.
It's super cheap right now. So
8 for $80.
Well,
Look what I have
that's
here
at
in my
Verde.
right hand, ladies and gentlemen.
No,
That's
they
right.
have
an
a deal
assortment
at
of
that's the. Okay.
Yeah. All right, just check on
Anyways,
the website before you go down.
Sounds like deals on top of deals.
Deals on top of deals.
Deals on
Still
top of
420
deals. That's right. Dabx.com.
Oh.
What can we say more
Loading
than what
my
we've said?
Dabx right now.
Yeah. What an
Killing it.
amazing product. Dabx.com. Done deal at checkout. You get 20% off your order. We told you about the deal they were having for $420.
Yeah.
It was 33% off. I hope you got one then. I know I got a bunch of email from people who said they did. I even wrote to Chris today and said, I'm sitting here, and brother, this looks like a rocket. Okay? And the little thing looks like something you would take on the go.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I just think, it's early enough. We can swap it out. Nobody would know the difference.
It's funny. Everyone always makes fun of you for having like a new dab rig, but like this one, everyone's like, this one is like cool, man. This one, like,
It's
just
fire.
the design of it. It like, I don't know. People just really gravitate to the design of it, and I like it so far.
Yeah.
A couple weeks in now.
With diamonds, it's like the never-ending gobstopper.
I've noticed that.
It doesn't go
I've noticed
away.
that with the diamonds. Yeah, you have to actually really push them down and like keep them pushed down.
And it's dab after dab after dab after dab.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And the cleaning.
They'll rise to the sides, and then you scrape them off and put them back in. And
Yep.
Get another round and do it again.
Yep. And it doesn't taste like burnt or like crap, because I'm a stickler about that. If it...
Did you just use a Yiddish word?
I don't know.
Stickler.
Sure.
Yes, you did.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, my goodness. Good for you, Mark. Good for you.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, if it tastes like burnt or like crap like that, I would be so mad because,
So
like we were talking
How
about.
mad? Like Hulk mad?
Well, I get pretty mad about things.
Well, it was
Anyways.
Telly that pointed out to me when I was using the other rig, and it was just the bowl piece, that you got to, Q-tip it out every single time.
Oh, well, I did that.
This thing sounds cool. I want one of these. I really like them.
Dabx.com.
It's the not having to Q-tip is the key to the whole thing.
Get the done deal.
No Q-tips.
Get one for the landlady, too.
Lucky.
Ozocoffee.com.
Best coffee in
In
Colorado.
Boulder.
In Boulder.
Well, ever, but they just got voted best of in Boulder.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They won the Boulder
Best
Weeklies.
roaster
Yeah.
and best.
Oh, the best.
Yep.
Well, we knew that already.
We already knew that.
The most waxing of mustaches.
Can you tell them the news?
What?
What?
Come on.
He's so excited.
Oh.
He's so excited.
Oh, come
Let's
on. Just relax.
let's just
Slow down,
relax.
everybody.
Just relax. Look,
Just because it's coffee
jeez
related.
I know.
Louise.
This guy is like...
Don't get all
What
amped
happened?
up.
Vinny.
This guy's all riled
I
up.
got another brewing over here.
I think there's something in the elote.
No. Oh, what? The,
He's all wired up, man.
Just help him.
I had street tacos.
Take a breath. Ozo Coffee.
Maybe if you're a Patreon member, we might tell you. How's that?
Oh,
I was going to say that. There you go.
Patreon member.
OzoCoffee.com.
Patreon members get to know.
Enter Done Deal 23.
What Vinny's trying to tell you.
Done Deal 23 at checkout, and you're going to get 20% off your order. You got to recognize here, they forge relationships with individual family farms all across the globe. They send the beans back to Boulder, and they roast them there.
Did you mention about Garrett to them? Kenya?
I probably did.
Oh, great.
Kenya.
We'll
Was it
talk
on the
about it
show?
later.
We talked about it on the show, but you probably forgot because you were probably really high.
If it was on the show, then I probably didn't mention it.
Kenya, the place, remember?
If it was on the
Garrett,
show,
Kenya.
I understand what
Kenyan
you're saying.
coffee.
Yes.
He said he has families there that grow coffee.
We're
I'll
going to
link them
connect
up.
them.
We're going to
Link.
link it. We're
I will
linking it
connect
up.
them.
link it up.
Link it
OzoCoffee.com.
up.
You need to link
Link
it
it.
up. Done Deal 23.
Done Deal 23.
23.
Link it up.
14erboulder.com.
Online
Thank
pre-order.
you guys so much.
There you go. That's what 14ers looks like.
Thank you so much. The flour, beyond belief. Right now, specials
Belief.
all everywhere. They grow amazing flour, which makes amazing concentrates.
Kind of works that way.
Apothecary makes their ambrosia. They make their own rosin. They use I'm forgetting the gummy company, but they're fantastic.
Dialed in
gummies.
They're great.
Try the Tropicana if it's on the shelf. Try the Kosher Kush. Try the DJC.
Oh, I knew that one was coming.
Come on, it's the greatest.
Anything
strain
but
ever.
that one.
What do you mean?
Can we do the Done Deal as a pre-order again, or no?
When's the
Give it a try.
When's the
I will
landlady
check.
coming out? We need to do.
As for right now,
Landlady.
give it a try.
Landlady.
All
That's a
right.
good name of her strain. I like that.
Oh, the landlady.
Landlady.
Yeah.
She's coming.
All right,
Coming to get
14er
you
Boulder.
every month.
14er Boulder.
Oh, there's the pre-order store. Let's see here. Oh, Stash Logics.
Yes, sir.
StashLogics.co.
If you want to be smart stoner.
Smart Stoner. Stash Logics with an X.
Get yourself. Yeah.
Someone was looking for a fanny pack the other day, and I suggested a Stash Logics.
Yeah, you need an
These are
expectation
really
of privacy.
Nice. They're lovely. They're quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that.
Enter Done Deal at checkout. I believe it's 20% off your order.
Lock it up. PegasusBags.com.
Speaking of Garrett.
Garrett. That was nice of him to stop by last week.
Yeah,
It
he
was a
came
good
by the house
episode.
too. He came down to the house.
Oh, sweet.
For a minute on his way out. So
It was
yeah,
really cool.
super cool. We went to we were hung out at Meow Wolf. We just ran into him. It was good because after a couple hours or hour and a half or whatever, I just see him kind of wandering along by himself. I'm like, where you at? What's going on?
Garrett was wandering by himself?
At Meow Wolf, yeah.
Oh, it must have been after we left then.
Maybe, yeah, because it was a while.
Damn, you guys yetied him up and then you just let him.
Yeah, he got them all yeted up and left them just
You guys
like
just left 'em.
discarded garbage.
No, we left at like
I
10
found 'em.
o'clock.
You.
We were there late.
Why would you do
Yeah.
that? No,
Maybe
it was
late.
early.
Maybe it was 9:30.
No, you
Yeah.
time warped, bro.
You left. Yeah, you must have left early.
You're in
Not
a-
possible. I was so high.
You're in a
Not possible.
wormhole. You're in a wormhole,
Nick
bro.
opened
I'd
up.
come down.
Nick opened up the portal 3 times.
He did.
He
People
knows-
were
He,
in
know,
awe.
he
every
knows
time.
the whole scam now. He's like, hey, yeah.
Oh, the
Oh,
rest.
really?
Yeah.
Well, I want to go with him next time because I've never seen it.
Cool.
Yeah, he almost did
And
it
I
when I
wanna
was
learn the
there.
scam.
Then I left, and then he came back, and then he's like, I did it 3 times. I'm like,
Then I'm
"Oh,
gonna-
No, he kept doing it, and every time he did it, people were like, "Holy shit! Leave it to this kid to do it."
So he knew he had a little hustle going right there. He's like, oh, should I open the wormhole?
Well, for those of you who don't understand what he's saying, so you can actually follow the progression. You got to go to the robot guys and use your boop card. And they tell you to go back to the soda machine. And if you go back to the soda machine, he then tells you exactly where to go. But you got to pay attention, and they tell you how to open up the portal.
Yeah, you've got to align the planet.
Yeah,
You gotta line up the planets.
The planet.
I don't like it.
I tried.
Anyways, if you don't want to line up all the planets, you can get these
You can
awesome
just-
grow bags.
That'll line it up
Mushrooms and
for you.
other
That'll line your
products.
shit up for you right there.
And check out the plastic eating.
PegasusBags.com. I meant to say, I kept trying to find a way to interject, but Travis was so fascinating in what he was saying. But I was going to say
Travis
that
is always fast.
he has an ally now in Garrett who wants to help in whatever he can do here for Colorado because he knows
I like that.
whatever he can do for Colorado means it'll eventually come to Texas because they're going to be last for everything.
Nice.
Colorado, USA.
So PegasusBags.com. Enter Done Deal at checkout. Somebody, 10.
I think it's
99% off. Yes.
I think it's 10%.
How about you just type it in and give it a try?
Yeah,
give it a try.
Just do that, man.
PegasusBags.com.
PegasusBags.com.
That was like last week if you click on James.
Oh, bangers.
We already
talked
did
about
bangers.
I know. I'm just saying, dang.
Oh, shit. Slow down.
Oh, so Vinny.
Hempin.co.
This is your guy, man.
Well,
Tell
Chew's
us about
got the greatest.
Everyone's guy.
Well,
He's
I think
everybody's guy.
He's getting
because
compliments
If you've had pain
everywhere.
and you've used this stuff, you've probably want more of it.
Yeah, there's lots of testimonials.
Man, you are smooth as silk.
Yeah,
Lots
dude,
of
that's what I do.
The way you
to say
do
that
that,
helps.
the way you delivered it.
He's not reading it at all.
I didn't read.
No, obviously.
I can't read.
Too, if you're listening, I
Jump
can
up
really
to
use
his
some more.
Website, hempin.co.
Yeah,
Hempin.co.
and leave a note that you heard about him from the Done.
You just got to tell them you heard about it on the show.
Via
You
the
get
Done Deal.
You'll get the double Done Super 2
Cool.
deal 2 times.
We love you, too.
Indicator.
It literally is the best CBD on
It
the
is.
planet.
100, absolutely.
Don't waste any time.
That's what somebody
Oh,
told him
shit.
today.
YoTip.com.
Yo, tips.
So
Got you.
let's
we hacked again this week. Another hack this week.
Let's make a list of hacks. So it hacks crutches.
Yeah.
Okay, that was its design.
Yes.
But it was first design. You can just put a joint in, even if you didn't have a crutch on the end of it.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Then it hacks crutches.
Okay. So
Then
that's
it
two.
hacked
We're counting as two?
the
All right.
little dipper
We count as two.
in the coffee shop in the plug.
Yeah.
Now it hacked
Yeah.
vapor pens.
What else will this hack?
I don't know, dude.
Hack a back. Hack
I'm
a
trying to think of it
It'll
right
keep
now.
you safe.
Hack-a-lacka.
Yo Tips or Yo Products on Instagram or YoTip.com.
It's the one thing that brings out the creativity in Dave.
Oh, maybe like lip
Yo
gloss. You
tips.
can like put it in there and squeeze it out, so just a little bit comes out, and you're like,
Oh, that's a great idea.
yeah, I know. All right.
Mark is now head of the Adam Dunn Show creative team.
Wow, Mark.
that.
Marketing geniuses.
Katie, do you need any projects? Do you need anything worked on by Mark?
He is creative as
his
fuck.
calendar is wide open. You go to YoTip.com.
Yep, okay.
To lip gloss.
Do it.
Enter Done Deal at checkout.
Dude. I was like, what? I don't know.
Cultured Biologics.
Yeah.
Cultured Biologics. Tell us, Adam.
Oh, yes. Well,
You guys are awesome.
it's a carbon-based nutrient line made here in Colorado with inputs from highly exclusive European inputs, but awesome plant-based line, which is extremely smart. I've been using it now for over a year now, and it's amazing as far as the terp enhancement that comes off, and you can really tell the difference between the different strains. We'll have Tim as our guest co-host once every 3-4 weeks. So those will be like focused more on organic. So if you have any kind of questions, he's literally like fucking amazing when it comes to the detail that he can explain and get you to understand. Like, oh, okay, well, now it sort of finally makes some sense to me.
He'll be the guy in the sunglasses.
Yeah, he'll be wearing sunglasses, and exactly. So, but yeah, send those questions ahead anytime to Done Deal at Adam Dunn Show, and we'd love to stack them up for him. So we'd have Stump the Master, and also if you're growing with salts or you're growing with anything that's you're not feeling like you're getting the terp profiles that you want to talk to him about it, because he can make your terps jump.
Yeah.
Terps jump.
Brilliant.
Make your terps jump.
Terps jump.
Culture
Enter
Biologics.
Jump. Oh, speaking of jumping terps.
VerdeNatural.com.
Right here,
Enter
Say-
Done Deal at checkout.
DavLogic. We have a DavLogic battle going on at the
game
show.
changer.
Everybody fights.
Yeah.
Fight.
It's very fighty.
Everybody fights
Yeah.
for the DavLogics.
Fight.
I mean, it really is rosin above the rest. I will say that their rosin is hands down some of the best
The
out
care
there.
translates to the product.
Yeah,
Exactly.
100%.
And their living soil, obviously cannabis inputs don't hurt the problem at all.
And you get to get the hazelnut cream, which is a JJR buddy. So
fire.
if you're down there, ask for it by name, but you want to place a pre-order and use Done Deal at checkout, and you're going to get 10% off your order, and then you just walk in and it's ready for you, and the 10% is calculated right at checkout. They use the Dutchy platform.
Yes, sir.
Organic living soil. if JJ participates with them, then you know it's the absolute top quality there is. And Julian is just, I mean, he is a savant of rosin. He like reads it when it's still growing in soil. He knows exactly what to do
He's
to
like
get
Travis
it ready.
talking to the mushrooms is
Yeah.
like him talking to the resin.
Yeah.
And making the
100%.
Pretty much the same.
100%.
He is.
VerdeNatural.com.
That's
Get
right.
the done deal on the pre-order. That was a good website. I was like, oh.
Terpwipes.com.
Oh, you got all excited?
/done deal.
Terpwipes.com.
The discount's calculated. Thank you. Somebody wrote to me, said I tried to get my Terp wipes and the deal didn't work. I wrote to them. It was fixed the next day.
Boom. Yeah.
And now we got Terp wipes again, too. So terpwipes.com /done deal.
Do it.
Do it. You need it.
I need it with that Deb X. Yo.
365. If you are a commercial grower and you want this is another combination, because if you're a commercial grower and you contact us for this, and you're interested also in the lamp, we can push your information over to the guys at DLI and get you maybe hooked up on a double hookup, because if you're really got the skills to pay the bills and can show that you're actually doing some good work,
you will get their UV. Don't get in the room.
Yeah, don't go in the room. UV lamp. The don't go in the room 5,000.
Don't go in the room 5,000. Bio365.com. But really, if you are a commercial grower, just give Tim a call or send an email to donedeal@adamdunnshow.com, and Mark will get you in touch with Tim.
Yeah.
Or you can just send he's on Instagram at Bio365Tim. Get in touch with him there.
Yeah,
He will take
yeah.
very good care of you. If you are, come on, you're a deadhead. Deadheads patronize deadheads.
They have a very responsive team. If you reach out to them, they will definitely hit you back up.
Yep. Living soil, biochar, nutrient enriched, indoor production, outdoor. They'll help you too. Give them a call.
Oh, there we go.
These guys are going to break big. I'm telling you.
They're going to
about
break big?
really
Break
big.
big? What's going on?
Yeah.
What's happening?
They
What's
got big plans.
Big plans. Big plans.
Expansion.
Lots of peanut butter involved.
Yeah. No, and we were like their first people who ever talked about them anywhere. So
everything's about us now.
They'll be very appreciative.
Like a pyramid
Awesome.
scheme. Is this like a pyramid scheme?
Well,
though?
I love
We're
numb
at the
nuts.
top.
I like the THC version, but you can get the CBD version sent to your house.
Mm-hmm. Just enter Done Deal at checkout.
And then they have a
20%.
cinnamon almond. Really good.
Yummy, yummy, yummy. We'll be having some more real soon.
And they have a pet formulation.
It's got the paws on it.
And it says Bow Wow on it, just so you know.
We'll ask the difference.
Don't even.
I'd like to know.
Yeah, numbnutsco.com.
Yes, sir.
Establish technologies.
Established technology.
You like that?
Adam's lights are on the way.
Are they?
Nice.
All
Yeah,
right.
and I got and it's funny too because the timing is just perfect, because I've had stuff in that room for my friend for like probably over a year now, and she just got a new place. So end of next month she's moving, and I can take all that stuff out. So and we'll be back to it's gonna be nice to set it all up. But established technologies, which is easier to say than Esteteg, in my opinion, puts out some amazing lamps that are. Have some incredible lens technology, and also their high bays, which is what I'm using right now, are really fucking good for either greenhouse situations or what they're listed as high bays, anything like 10 foot or above, and got a good footprint. So if you are a Patreon listener, you will see the results.
Company's been in business for 22 years. You really can't say that about almost any LED company out there.
That's right.
Yeah, so give them a call or head to stech.com, or you can go find them at stech, ESTTECHLED on Instagram. Somebody will get back in touch with you. Or you can send an email to donedeal@adamdunnshow.com, which Mark will read, and get in touch with them.
Thanks, Dave.
Get you in touch with them.
Yeah,
SeedsHereNow.com.
SeedsHereNow.com.
That's right.
This is going to be Katie's commercial.
Oh wait, he was supposed to call in. I thought.
I hear these all the time, and I couldn't say one.
Is he in the thing?
He should call.
I told him to call in. earlier.
James Bean, man on the scene.
James Bean,
We
man on
are
the
throwing
scene.
out
Have the number.
Man on the scene. Well, if he wants to, but he can also come onto Patreon too after show.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's always welcome, because we will be back after this one, and But in general, if you need any genetics, which is that time of year where everybody starts getting all antsy, like, oh shit, I gotta get. Even though technically you can start seeds any time of year because we do have a lot of indoor growers, but any outdoor growing situations is like, it's not necessarily the time, but it's time to get your shit in order.
What is that? Go back to that. What is that?
I don't. I was kind of figuring it out.
Holy moly!
Crazy.
Anyways,
strange.
SeedsHereNow.com. Check out the breeders.
What?
That looked like a vapor pen.
It did.
Okay. Well, we'll figure it all out.
Going crazy over here.
Maybe James Bean would like to call us.
James Bean will tell us.
Yeah, he's gonna tell us what's up. Anyways,
yeah, you can see by the list of breeders, all
Trusted
amazingly
names.
awesome guys. Especially
Click around.
Yeah,
especially
click
when you
around.
get down to the bottom there.
And the S's somewhere.
The T's and the that guy with the formerly known as.
I don't know who that is.
I know, right?
Formerly known as bearded one.
Oh, and I was gonna do one as a joke with no beard.
I know. I have one. I already did.
Oh, you
one.
do?
I stubble. I have stubble.
Oh, nice.
Where the beard was.
I like it. Anyways,
It's
And,
weird.
and our buddies, of course, Miles over there.
that's right.
Mr. Weed should taste good. But yeah, check them out. Lots of deals he's got because he's been blowing out deals. I think that's why he wanted to call in because he had some crazy ass deals. But we'll
Well, he has the new flavor of the month and the breed of the month.
that
also,
I noticed
you know,
it, but he
and
had
that's
some
cool.
other. But he did
also
has,
look at all
yeah.
this.
They always do so many. There was the
Look at
April,
this.
yeah, flavor. Oh, it was a lemon month too. A lot of lemons.
Lemon
a lot
month.
of lemons.
A lot of lemons.
Oh, okay. Those are the two deals. It's the lemon month and then Exotic Genetics.
There
is
we
the
go.
breeder of the month.
Thank
Then
you,
we got
James
some-
Bean.
Ooh, the Seed Company freebies.
There
Look
he
at
is
that.
right
Ooh,
there.
TSK's new
Oh.
Dirty Taxi line.
Got those
Ooh.
going. Exciting.
Sweet. Oh, I want some of that. Yeah, I'm excited to try that.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, what if somebody wants a T-shirt from the show?
Oh, well, then you go to AdamDunnShow.com.
Oh, that's
Wow,
right.
that was a good. That was fire.
Oh,
Dude, did you
wow,
see that?
Dave,
That was
so
Segged
smooth.
it.
Dude, we're so
Segged
It was so worth it.
we're
The way you did that.
You like that?
we should pat ourselves on the back of how good a segue was.
It was.
Instead
Turn
of
that
actually
fan
just
off.
And then
going
fucking
into that
cold.
segue.
Oh, now you're cold?
thing
It
that we
wasn't for
segued
me.
to.
It was for our guest.
Cold.
See, now it's much quieter too.
So if you
Yeah,
want to
allowed that
offend
fan.
everyone when you go into the grocery store, you can get the motherfucking Adam Dunn Show shirt. And
I gotta be careful about that one too.
What, wearing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Because he had
School?
parent-teacher conferences the other day, and he was trying to wear that.
Did you?
Yeah, dude.
Good job.
He had to turn it inside out. The principal made him turn it inside out.
No.
I saw him.
Is this true?
That
I
happened
seen
to
it.
that happened to somebody in the
That sounded
ninth
super
grade.
fake.
Confidence.
It was in the
That's
Boulder
how you
camera.
tell
Is that like
all these people.
It was in that little like thing they give away at the grocery store.
But look, there's a fucking pillow, dude. Get a pillow.
Get a
CBD pillow.
Get a fucking no,
Spot
it's
to
not.
put your CBD in there.
Have a pillow fight.
Yeah,
throw
that's right.
pillow?
Yeah.
All right, so
Nice.
do it.
Check them out.
Check it out.
Of course.
And that does it for the paying the bills portion of the Adam Dunn Show.
There it does. Yeah, then for sure. And
Welcome to the end banter part.
This show is
the
worldwide.
banter, exactly.
Danny did write back to me. He said he had family obligations tonight. He couldn't make it. I'm like, I fucking gave you like at least 45 minutes notice.
I know that's like way more than normal.
No,
Normally
I
it
wrote
was-
to him yesterday when I saw the fucking card. I'm like, as soon as I saw it, I'm like,
Yeah.
when you said, no, in fact, I wrote to him beforehand.
Yeah.
When you said, I'm like, you got to come on Friday and do Dutch Guy.
Dutch
And we'll-
Guy,
And we'll just
hey.
say you're Jair and
Just
nobody
relax,
would know.
bro.
But
Exactly.
no, his family came first.
Family first. So
Fuck.
Danny Danko's family came first. I can't believe it. I can't
Jair
believe
blew his whole family off and left him in fucking Holland to come
Yeah, he
here.
said, "Fuck it."
My wife is her birthday is tomorrow.
Whoa! Happy birthday, Annalise. You forgot that?
You suck!
I know, I saw it.
All right.
Like you better be there for the children's
You
birthday.
better be a
something
new
like
car
that.
for her or something
Wow,
like that.
the
I
new
always
Mercedes
thought
coming again. Oh, another
Hey,
one.
hey.
Another Mercedes.
If the only thing you show up with is an Adam Dunn Show T-shirt, you are sleeping in the guest bedroom.
Oh yeah.
Holy
You
fuck!
must have one of those somewhere, right?
Have those.
Oh, he's got
you
the
made
G
those-
money.
You made those jackets in the past that were like that snow camouflage. kind
Oh
of
yeah,
type.
that was a good one.
Yeah, it was.
Those were good. Those are the good years. The camouflage, the original.
Well, shout out to Jair for coming and spending time with us,
And Annalise
New
for her
Millennium
birthday.
Nutrients for sitting over there, and we didn't even get him on at all.
Nah, Jaron was like, "Fuck it, I don't give a fuck."
All right.
It's like, go watch
And
my
fucking
podcast. Otherwise, I'm going to blow all
Yeah,
the
I got
thing. No one's going to want to see mine.
early on.
They say already. What? Is she strong now?
Oh, Jared is local, so
Yeah.
Fuck, dude, don't.
in here and get behind that mic any given moment.
You know,
He talks as much as fucking Odie does.
no, he's got his own show, dude. He has to. He knows what's
You
up.
guys can't see the crazy peanut gallery that they have over here.
Yeah, no, our peanut gallery is
Would
pretty
you
crazy.
stop giving everything away?
Yeah, we're all sitting in my garage.
You're gonna give away all the sausage made.
No dogs in here right now.
We're
either.
flying through space
Definitely
with
no
smoke
dogs.
around us. That's what's happening.
Thank you, Katie, for
That's real.
coming in and spending time with us. Very much appreciated. You sure we don't
Mel-
owe you any
Mel-
money?
Mel got
just
lost.
texted and said she's still
Hey,
on her
Barney,
way.
I'll be home
Oh, that's
soon.
fine. That's perfect. She'll be our
Okay, that's
Patreon.
what
She's
you
our
told me.
Got an
Patreon.
hour.
Yeah. So you got. So if you're a Patreon member, you're gonna get to
Better
hang
get
out
on
too.
it.
Yeah, you're gonna get secrets, and you're gonna get Adam's grow and all kinds of stuff.
And, yep, and Mel hanging out
Yeah.
with Mel. Hanging out with Mel.
Oh, and Mel's
A
gonna come.
moment with
Yeah,
Mel.
There's
so-
a chance that there won't be any secrets given. We'll see.
okay.
Whoa.
Well, there's a good chance of secrets.
So you're an
We don't
Indian
wanna
giver
blow
of
it.
secrets now?
He did it. I
Dude,
didn't say.
he was ready to go.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we're telling it. Don't worry.
All right.
We're telling it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Patreon.
If
Fuck
that
it.
is a secret
If it
you're
doesn't
worried about,
happen,
Yeah.
fuck it.
then you're in trouble.
I'll put it.
Yep. All right.
I got it covered.
Let's go.
Thanks, guys. See you guys next week.
Practically every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children.
Steve is really my father.
This is a special question. We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing. We want you to smoke the natural herb.
Sweet.
Some call it marijuana.
Sweet.
Some call it sesame.
Sweet.
Some call it lamb's bread.
The tea.
And some people call it.
Field created by all living things. It surrounds us, it penetrates us, it binds the galaxy together.
Nobody's listening.